bitch. Oh, excuse you? Baloney wash. I'm annoyed. I'm just here to give my opinion and carry in. Oh, it's Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch. Well, hello everybody. Welcome, and happy Tuesday. It's your boy Chris Avalon, and welcome to a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered, a show where we basically get into all the things regarding celebrity news, hot topics. Oh, excuse me. What's something on my phone? Anything that's going on in the world of entertainment, we talk about it on this here show. So, if you could do me a solid and hit that like button, that subscribe button, and the notification button so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. And we got a lot of tea to spill. Oh my God, there was something I wanted to get, and it's funny how I just now thought about it, and I got to go look into the archives and try to find it. But while I do that, let's give y'all the rundown of what's the tea we're going to be expecting to talk about. We got some I Know What You Did Last Summer reboot news. The cast has been officially announced. So we're going to talk about that. Plus, we talked a little bit about Kamala Harris yesterday and all that good stuff, but now we need to talk about who her potential VP picks are and who was actually left off the short list. We're going to talk about that. Plus, did y'all even know that Kamala Harris used to date Montel Williams, the talk show host, back in the day? And they trying to, the Republicans are grasping at straws right now. So they looking for something to just come at her with, and they have nothing. So they're like backed into a corner and they're shitting a brick, rightfully so, because they thought they had this campaign in the bag. And so now they got to work. Work. So we're going to talk about that Montel Williams story. Plus, Chris Brown, we did mention this a little bit yesterday while we were doing the show. I needed to do the research. I did the research. And now, apparently, Chris Brown has been sued for $50 million because he and a bunch of his wannabe goons was out there mollywopping a bunch of fans. So at his concert, and I don't know why anybody's surprised by any of the craziness that Chris Brown does, but we're going to talk about it. Plus, speaking of bitch asses in the music industry, we're going to talk about Justin Timberlake allegedly being or it's being reported because it came from TMZ and a bunch of other places, being the only holdout for this NSYNC, what is it, 25th anniversary stadium tour they trying to get up and running in 2025. Justin being the only one that just told me he don't want to do it. So, alleged. Well, that's the word on the curb. So we're going to talk about it. And of course, I'm going to have to drag, that old tired heifer in the situation. So we're going to talk about that. Plus, we got tea on the latest with Hennifer and Ben have been secretly working to rekindle their romance behind the scenes. We got the latest on the Real Housewives of New Jersey. There was some stuff. The yesterday episode, we damn near did a 5-hour show yesterday. So I had to make some cuts in some of the topics. So I'm gonna reiterate and talk about the Real Housewives of New Jersey news that I had yesterday about how they filmed their reunion of sorts, and how do we even was it a good idea what they did? So we're gonna talk about that. Plus, child Kathy Hilton is spilling tea about how Kyle felt when she saw Mauricio making out with a woman that ain't her, in public. So we're going to talk about that. Plus, Kim Zolciak, we're going to talk about this because we dropped that topic yesterday, but we didn't talk about it. She's on a return to the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Speaking of Kim's, another Kim Cattrall, is speaking on those rumors that we talked about maybe it was last week. I don't remember. We do so many shows over here. I can't remember when I say stuff. But Kim Cattrall is addressing the rumors that she is coming to End Just Like That full time. Elon Musk is talking mess about his trans child who is no longer with us. Fix it, Jesus, with him. Kim Burrell, speaking of Fix It, Jesus, Kim Burrell is apologizing to the LGBTQ plus community for calling them perverted. Now, where this come from? And why all of a sudden this big back bitch got to change her heart? So we're going to talk about that. Plus, Trixie Mattel's explaining why she turned down a spot on The Traitors. Morphine, prayers up for her. She was injured in a really bad car crash over on Saturday. I think this is like right after DragCon. And Omar Apollo, Mr. Jamil, you better get your camera because apparently Omar Apollo is ready for his close-up on the big screen. So we got that and a whole lot more and a whole lot of things that we're going to talk about. But as I stated before, please hit that like button, that subscribe button, and the notification bell so that way we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. And funnily enough, since Robert wants to spoil things in the comments, I was wearing early before I even did the show. I was wearing a Deadpool shirt. And what happened was I had to go to, the Lesbians Paradise, aka Home Depot, to get some things. And my shirt got all sweaty and stuff because it's so damn hot outside. So I wasn't able to. I didn't want to wear it on camera. So, hold on. Yeah, I was gonna wear it on camera. I didn't want to wear it because it got all sweaty and stuff. So there's that. I was looking for something. I think I found it. Because when I talk about the I Know What You Did Last Summer thing, okay, so I was like, should I even let y'all? Okay, so while I was going to talk about the I Know What You Did Last Summer news, what I was going to do was I was going to reiterate the Scream stuff because these damn Scream fans, y'all getting on my fucking nerves. The new generation ones, the ones that's talking about we going to beat up people who go see this new Scream movie. First of all, you could eat a bag of dicks. And I wish you would try to roll up on me when I go see this fucking movie. Your lips going to be beating your ass at the hospital. But anyway. So Robert said, well, I've kind of figured that Lady Deadpool was going to be who you saying in the thing. I thought I was like, I did have a moment. I was like, oh, you think it might be Madonna? But I was like, no, I think they're going to play it safe and make it, what's his name? They're going to make it, oh my God, Ryan Reynolds' wife. I figured that's where they were going to go with that because she's an actress. He's an actor. She's got, she's done action in movies before. I forget. She played like a secret agent or something or another. That movie was a little slow for me, and they had like literally like maybe one or two action sequences. I didn't particularly care for that, but I liked Blake Lively, so making her the Lady Deadpool that kind of works, and it's the safe bet to go with. Um, it was scheduled. I had to change it because, like I told you, I had to go to Home Depot. So I did change it. So I was like, I'm gonna just make it later. Anyway, Trump is ill. Well, good luck. Not coming to North Carolina. Well, yeah, because that man is losing it. And Kamala is now in Wisconsin. She's gathering a lot of people. She's even gotten a lot of black men signing up, in her corner. Shout out to Roland Martin for all the latest news that he's been talking about on there. What did he say? Let me go to his, because I don't know, Facebook has been acting weird lately. And when I be up on there, I was trying to wait, I think I might have saved it in my thingamajig. Oh, he was like, he was on the call. He said, I have no words, and not just because I'm tired. My Black Star Network just told me that my at Black Star Network just told me that 53,862 people registered for our Win with Black Men video call. We raised 1.3 million and counting from 17,000 donors. Props to fellow co-hosts. It says Q James 007, Mike Blake 1922, Bakari Sellers, Khalil Thompson, Amazing Brothers. Y'all showed up and showed out. And that's what we got to do. It's like, you know what? And I'm sorry, Republicans, you fucking racist, wetback bastards. If y'all really think that the way that you can win over the black vote is by trying to sell ugly ass gold sneakers and stupid hats and all that other shit, if you think that's what gets, no, that's what. Now I'm about to get unfiltered with this mouth. That's how you get niggas. That's not how you get black people. That's not how you get actual people who want to see change and process and progress. You can get the niggas. You can get the sexy red types and them bums. That's who you can get to go over there with you. And these rappers we ain't never heard of. But when we talk about real change in the world, that's what's gonna happen. And that's not how you gonna get us. So you lost. But anyway, I was like, I hate sometimes when I gotta get vulgar with the mouth, but sometimes you gotta make a point. That's what you gotta do. So before we get to the Kamala stuff, let's get to, I just want to lighten up the mood a little bit and then we can get into the political. Because I was like, yesterday, yeah, we had to get that out of the way. But anyway, let's talk about this I Know What You Did Last Summer news. So, there's been a lot of stories and stuff floating around about what's going on. Like, we already kind of knew that Jennifer Love Hewitt was in talks. Freddie Prinze Jr., we haven't even heard if he's going to be a part of it yet. But Jennifer Love Hewitt did do it. And I think she was filming 911 when, yeah, 911, because I always think 911 is 911 Lone Star. She's not on that one. She's on the other one. Rob Lowe is on Lone Star. But anyway, she's on 911. And I think they were like filming the season and I think she was interviewed by ET or something or another. And she said, like, yeah, if Julie James comes back, she's got to be a badass. Like, you're not going to have her just come up in there and being like a weekly. And I feel like if y'all are going to bring Julie James back and y'all have this new cast of characters, which is I figured that it was going to be a cast of young blood, which rightfully so, if you're going to be rebooting the franchise or having a reboot call as of sorts, because they did say that they're taking more of the Scream 5 approach, which is you have the legacy cast members, but you also, pass the torch to the next generation, which they did do with Scream, but then, the shit happened with them. And I'm gonna stitch that in with this once I get through this topic. But first, hold on, because I was like, let me pull this picture up. Okay, so basically, this is the cast here. And The Hollywood Reporter basically revealed that Madeline Klein, star of Netflix's Outer Banks, and Camila Mendez, who played Veronica on CW's long-running Riverdale, are in talks to lead the ensemble of Sony Pictures' reboot of the 1997 horror hit. Also in negotiations are Tony Award nominees Sarah Pidgeon, Atlanta's Tariq Withers, and Jonah Howard King, who played Prince Eric in Disney's live-action remake of The Little Mermaid. Now, THR previously reported that Jennifer Love Hewitt and Freddie Prinze Jr. were in talks to reprise their roles for the initial movie. Jennifer K. Robinson, Do Revenge, is directing the new project from a screenplay she co-wrote with Sam Lansky under initial script by Liam McKendrick. Neil Moritz, one of the producers of the original, is producing this reboot. It says Sony is moving swiftly on this one because it has penciled in a release of July 18th, 2025 for the feature. So this kind of makes me wonder, if y'all got July on lock, are y'all gonna start filming this around the same time as Scream? Because they're talking about they're doing the new Scream movie with Nev Campbell, and I wonder if they're also going to shoot it in the same place, because I think they shot the original in North Carolina. But speaking of, Onyx in the comments, talking about, Charlotte. um I'm wondering if they're actually going to shoot, but I was like, are they going to shoot this in Atlanta? Because that seemed like to be the go-to where a lot of people shoot a lot of horror films. If they're not going to go over to Canada and film it there, Vancouver, Toronto, you name it, they, the usual haunts. But if they're going to actually come to, if they're going to shoot it here, I wonder if they're going to shoot it in Atlanta, and it'll probably be shooting around the same time as Scream 7. So that's kind of got me wondering. And I do wonder, like, okay, so what's going on with Jennifer Love Hewitt? Because if Jennifer Love Hewitt is also tied in to do 911, is there a way that you're going to actually film her, like shoot around her schedule? Because if she's going to be doing this movie, and especially when y'all have this film on lock for, 2025, which they said July 18th, which makes a lot of sense, because remember, the original movie did take place around the 4th of July weekend, or 4th of July. So, and which is why I think a lot of times when people watch I Know What You Did Last Summer, they choose around Independence Day to watch this movie. So, the only person I will say that I'm aware of is Camila Mendez, because I did watch a few seasons of Riverdale until I'm like, okay, now y'all getting ridiculous and y'all losing me. And that's typical of CW, fare, is that when you watch CW stuff, I try to get, it's cute in the beginning, and then it's like y'all lose y'all momentum after a couple of years. So I always have to usually just bail and move on. So, but they did say I Know What You Did Last Summer hit theaters on October 17, 1997, and it surpassed 72 million at the box office, which means that would mean that it would be $142 million. The cast included, Jennifer, Freddie, Sarah Michelle Gellar, and Ryan Phillippe, in the story about a friends group stalked by a villain with a hook after they tried to cover up hitting him with the car. The initial movie was penned by Kevin Williamson and based on the 1973 novel of the same name from author Lois Duncan. So, and then of course we had the sequel, which came out in 1998, which to me, in my opinion, felt rushed. I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, and while I do have like a soft spot for that film, it wasn't really that good. They could have really taken the time to really develop on the script, but they fast tracked it because they wanted to bank off the success of I Know What You Did Last Summer. And this was all around the time of Scream being this huge hit and all this other stuff. So everybody was all of a sudden in this whole Kevin Williamson renaissance. So now they said that the model for the new take, as I said to y'all earlier, is the 2022 Scream reboot, which saw members of the original cast mix it up with the cast of young up and comers, which in that case included Jenna Ortega and Melissa Barrera. It also followed, the strategy of trying to build a next generation of stars, as seen with the Sydney Sweeney, Glenn Powell rom-com anyone but you. But that's weird. They said they're trying to build the next generation of stars, but they're talking about Sydney Sweeney and Glenn Powell. Well, I think, in my opinion, it is working for Glenn Powell, because Glenn Powell has actually become, I feel like that he's given a cross between Tom Cruise, minus the cuckoo crazy and the Jim Jones Kool-Aid drinking of the Scientologist, and Matthew McConaughey, because he's from Texas. And Glenn is from Texas, and I've been saying yesterday, I need to go see Twisters, because all the things that I've been hearing about. I was a little skeptical at first, because I was like, I don't know, because I love the original Twister movie, so I don't know if it was like I need to go see Twisters, but I've been hearing great things about it. Like, people saying they had a good time, so I definitely want to check it out, and I want to see it in 40K, because I want to like be shaking and have water spraying on me. Like, I want to feel like I'm on a roller coaster ride, literally watching this movie. Because I already told you I had a bad experience with 40K, so I needed rejudged, because when I went to go see Thor, Love and Thunder, that was my first time that I got to experience 4DK, and I was disappointed. So we don't need to go through all the things that they've been in, but I will say that, you know what, I am intrigued to know what is the overall plot for this movie, and where Julie and Ray will fit in the story. Is one of the new generation of people in the film, is it one of their children, or is it just so that Julie and Ray live in this town, and then something happens that's a trigger of what had transpired almost 30 years ago that they experienced. So I really hope that they're not just tacking on, in my opinion, Julie and Ray, like they did with Nev Campbell and Scream 5, where I felt like that, I just didn't feel like she fit in that film. Like, I just felt like she was tacked on. Like, y'all were just trying to play fan service to the OGs, but Radio Silence is more interested in the Carpenter sisters and the Core Four and everything that they were going on with. And I'm also hoping that they find a way to add Brandy's Carla to the story, but I don't know. I have a feeling she's not going to be brought back to the reboot. Cool. I would love to see. I mean, Brandy is starting to make a resurgence back in the horror. I know she has a new horror movie coming out this fall. Can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but I saw the trailer and it looked pretty good. And I would love to see her. If not, and I know what she did last time. If she's not going to be in those films, how about making her like one of Sidney Prescott's best friends in this place? Well, I guess what they doing in Seattle. But speaking of Sidney Prescott, I came across this post and it was kind of annoying, because, like I told y'all yesterday, there's been people out here who've been bitching and moaning about the whole Scream situation, and the fact that Jenna and Melissa are no longer part of the franchise, and people are giving whole attitudes, and even going to the part of threatening physical violence to people who go see this film. It's like, bitch, if y'all don't sit y'all corny asses down, because you ain't putting hands on nobody, because either you better hope your ass don't wind up in the hospital from getting your ass beat, or you don't end up in jail. So someone by the name of Frightgasm on social media, I had to screenshot it and I did send it out, but said the following. It said, okay, gonna take a stab at this. The comments being said right now about Scream 7 and Nev are some of the most ridiculous things I've ever read. Let's use some critical thinking for a moment. First, according to Google, there's 27 people working at Spyglass. According to Wikipedia, Spyglass is majority owned by Lantern Entertainment. Lionsgate owns 18.9%. Then Warner, Cineworld, and Eagle Pictures own the remaining minority. Do I think Melissa's firing was wrong? I do. But to assume everyone at Spyglass and those other companies wanted Melissa fired, or even had anything to do with her firing, is unrealistic. I am speculating, but it was likely a board decision made by a few people and doesn't reflect the opinions and views of everyone at the company. No matter what statement Spyglass put out, that likely came from the person who handles public image. So before you say Spyglass supports genocide, have you personally asked every single person that works there? If not, let's not make blanket statements. Second, I see so many people saying they are boycotting the movie because of Spyglass supporting genocide. Do you work a 9-to-5 job? Have you asked everyone at your company what their view is on Israel/Palestine? I'd almost guarantee there's people at your place of work who support Israel, probably even higher ups. Does that mean the company you work for supports genocide? Because with this same logic, if you're not quitting your job today, then you support genocide. See how illogical Illogical. Why can't I say this fucking word? Any other time I can say it, today I can't say it. Illogical. That's it. I calmed down. Third, and we need to really emphasize the third part. Neva's an actress. Her job is to act. So seeing people saying she supports genocide or has no morals or has sold out because she took this job is ridiculous. Who is she selling out to? The fans that want her in the movie, LOL. Nev is known for Scream. No matter how many other movies she's done, she will always be remembered for the Scream franchise. She has 2 kids, is going to work and is going to work and support her family. The movie happening is giving work to hundreds of people: cast, crew, writers, producers, graphic teams, sound engineers, marketing teams, the list goes on. Do you know that all those people think of Israel, Palestine? Because while I'm sure a lot of them have a stance on it, they also need to work to pay the always increasing expenses of life. So people, please think before you just comment. Try to look at different scenarios and situations. You're entitled to believe what you like, but stop shaming people for being excited that a movie is being made. You can care about Israel/Palestine and also care about Scream 7. There's no rule saying you have to choose. Watching or not watching Scream 7 does literally nothing to help what's going on in that part of the world. If you want to help, donate to reliable places, call your elected officials, voice your opinions to them, write them letters, and vote for those who share similar views. And if this offended you, that wasn't my intention, but I highly recommend you get comfortable with being uncomfortable. The world, especially especially the internet, does not cater to what offends you. And you can't just take out your torch and pitchfork every time someone bothers you and starts trying to make others feel bad for having different views and opinions. Different views and opinions is part of how we learn. And if we can't coexist with people who have different views, how can we expect to grow as a species? And you want to know something? You done said it all. Mic drop. That's exactly how I be feeling in this whole situation. It's like, you know what? At the end of the day, I could sit and be mad and punch the air over people having a difference of opinion or liking something based off whatever. But it's like, yeah, you don't know what everybody's thought process is. And if I sign on to a movie, it's even with the actors or whatever. Any actor that signs on, they have a right to be bullied because they support genocide. Did you have a legitimate sit down conversation with them to ask them what their views are on anything political? So because somebody's starring in something because a bunch of hires up, a bunch of CEOs made the decision to fire Melissa Barrera, take it up with your pastor. Take it up with whoever. Don't take it up with, we don't give a fuck. And if you want to sit at home and don't watch the movie, then don't watch the goddamn movie. But the rest of us will be there opening weekend watching Scream 7, just like I will be there opening weekend, depending on who else is part of the casting. And they officially announced, Jennifer Love Hewitt and Freddie Prinze Jr. are a part of it, and whoever else, along with this core five actors that I'm seeing in this picture, we'll be there opening weekend when this film comes out. And first I need to see a damn trailer, but I have a feeling this, the person, based off of what they've been saying, that the director does care about this franchise. So I am excited to check it out. So I say all this to you guys. What do you think of this news? You can talk the Scream 7 stuff as well as the I Know What You Did Last Summer reboot stuff. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Okay, now speaking of comments, let's go up top and see what everybody's saying. They said, what surprises me is that the Latino vote statistics for Trump is huge, almost because they think they white. Y'all better get off that high horse. He trying to deport y'all asses. I don't understand why y'all think, oh, we not like them. You think he cares? If you're not white presenting and believe in the bigotry and stuff that they believe over there, you're not getting a seat at their table. I don't know why a lot of y'all be sitting out here tap dancing for them. They don't care about you. And so yeah, I remember when he went to Puerto Rico and thought he was in shell. And he gave a bunch. Don't even remind me about that foolishness. And said, I remember him throwing paper towels. I haven't seen any stats of Asian voters, but I'm sure most of them aren't going to vote for someone that referred to them as a China virus and promoted anti-Asian hate. Yeah, I've heard that everybody's saying it's a good movie. Nestle Crunchy says all this commotion over movies that ain't all that. I wanted to stop by Starbucks so bad when I was at Target the other day, but I have to remember about Yes, I know. Because here's the thing: I do drink Starbucks. Every time when I run low on the Starbucks situation, it refills automatically. And I was like, damn, I wanted Starbucks, but I have to remind myself that, yeah, y'all out here supporting the RNC. You're not getting a dime out of me. I'm not supporting Trump. Fuck out of here. I say everybody's galvanized and rejuvenated and excited over this whole Kamala Harris situation. So nope, I'm not doing it. So I guess I'm drinking Dunkin' Donuts. But I've been wanting them refreshers sometimes. Or, like when it comes to the coffee, they have like I would have to go like I actually started making my own iced coffee actually. Like I make the Bustelo, I take it and I put it in the hot coffee machine. Then I do is I line up the pitcher with ice. Then I let it sit a little bit, let the black coffee I pour it in the thing, and then, I leave it in the fridge overnight. So by the time the morning comes, you can add your creamer and all this other stuff. Or if you want to drink it black, which I usually do sometimes, then just drink it that way. And then why people are boycotting Scream 7 more hard is because they fired Melissa because she spoke out, and then Jenna Ortega. Yeah, because, well, they was the word on the street was because the Scream 7 script apparently leaked. I'm not seeing nobody else reporting this but one person on YouTube, but everybody's running with the narrative. And apparently they said that they were going to explore um Sam's dark was it? I'm dark passenger. That's what we call it because Dexter got dad. So they wanted to explore her. I'm starting to think about Dexter because they're doing a Dexter prequel, which I'm actually excited about. I hope it's actually as good as the original series that was on Showtime. But anyway, so so what they were doing, so they trying to explore her dark passenger. So what they were going to do is because of scheduling conflicts, they were going to kill Tara off, and then Sam was supposed to snap. So that's the alleged rumor surrounding, and then there was going to be a way to interject Sydney's character in, the whole thing. And they were trying to say basically that the script was done, everything was on lock before Christopher Landon quit, and they were already scouting locations. So that's what I was hearing. They said corporate interest in human rights to movies is silly, but he ain't completely wrong. He's not. As I hate to gatekeep, but I'm 40 years old. None of the Gen Z was there when the original Scream came out in 96. I was 12. Some of them are babies. I'm fucking excited because Nev and Courtney Cox. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm gonna watch it. It's like I've been there since the beginning. So if it was just like I feel like if it was just some new franchise I just jumped into, I'd probably be like, oh, y'all changing it after like, and then I'm like, okay, well, maybe I'm not interested. But if I've been there from the beginning, since the original movie came out, and I didn't get to go to see it in the movies. I remember somebody was telling me about that they went to go see Scream and they said it was a really good movie. So I didn't see Scream until it actually came out on VHS. That was when the first time I saw Scream. And I remember my parents were, because this is what we used to, and I'm sure a lot of y'all did this back in the day. So we had, we go to video store, had I think it was like Blockbuster, one of them I probably went to. You take the regular tape, and then you have the blank tape, and you record, the movie that you have. And then, of course, so that way you always keep it. Because my parents always did it. Like we had a whole bunch of tapes. My mother would just record all the movies to a blank, VHS. And I remember I was trying to sneak and watch it. Like I was so excited because I wanted to see Scream so bad, and it was like recording. So I flipped on the TV real quick, and that was the part where I saw that Casey Cooper was getting killed. Like it was like right at the beginning. And it's funny, I still remember that. And so speaking of faux news, they're mad at the age debacle going their way. I'll take Starbucks or a homo chicken. I'm paying it, but it's my money. McDonald's cafe frap with lots of ice cream. Wait, is McDonald's in on this too? Or Chick-fil-A. I still don't understand the appeal of people that do Chick-fil-A. I've never eaten Chick-fil-A, but I know a lot of people that do. And there's a Chick-fil-A not too far from my job at Madison Square Garden. And by the time I get out of work, they usually just like you see them in the window cleaning up. Like they close like around 10 o'clock. Which is the one thing I love about certain areas of Manhattan when they close early. That, because certain places they be open until like 11, sometimes midnight. I said, bitch, I'm trying to go home. Like I would not want to be in that situation. You work in the food service, that your store stays open late. Because who want to be in there? Because when they close the store, they got to clean and restock. It's a lot. I know this because I used to work at Shake Shack once upon a time, way back in the day. And I used to hate working the nights because I hated like, sometimes you was on the fryer, the grill. I hated cleaning the grill. Like when you had to do like the deep fryer or whatever, where they do the chicken tenders or the chicken. We didn't have chicken tenders. And we had chicken nuggets, 6 piece and 12 piece. Now I'm trying to remember. And then they had like when we get like the chicken breast or whatever, chicken sandwich. So it was like you got to clean all that out, the restocking the fly, all that other stuff. Like I used to hate having to do that at night. I'd rather work the morning because you get in and out. You have to, but the one thing I always hated about working mornings was the fact that you always had to pick up the slack from the people from the night before because the manager, I guess, that was on call was fucking lazy or horrible. It just didn't give a fuck about checking to make sure that the people that was closing had everything ready for the people that opened. So I used to hate that. I was 20 in 1996. I was clubbing and going to raves. Me too. I was clubbing and going to raves. So I used to rent games for Blockbuster. I think my father used to do that too. I also screened the original in theaters, snuck and rented it a lot. Got it for Christmas gift, limited edition, Nev Campbell cover with the NC-17 cut, the only time that cut was available. I do have the version on a VHS of where you actually get to see the scene of Casey hanging from the tree outside her parents' house and her intestines are spilling out. I actually have that version. That's probably the one you're talking about. My niece and nephews like, look, I don't even get the appeal. First of all, I heard that they chicken is flavorless. But anyway, let's move on to our next topic and let's talk about Kamala. My name is Kamala. Kamala. You know that stupid song that Maya Rudolph. Maya Rudolph about to be busy for the next 4 years because she's gonna be on SNL. I guess they'll just have her come in every now and again to play her. In between her doing seasons of Loop, she'll be coming in and doing, SNL. But anyway, so we talked a little bit about Kamala and everything yesterday about how excited everybody is. Everybody was feeling defeated with the whole RNC, the shooting with Trump and all the stunts and shows that circus was pulling for the past 3 weeks. Now Kamala and Joe Biden, President Biden, pulled the ultimate checkmate and gagged the RNC and all the Republicans and the racists and the bigots and all these oligarchy types that's trying to take over the country, and trying to pretend that they care about the people, but y'all don't. I don't understand why a lot of you people of color or whatever and women are jumping on this situation when they don't see it for y'all. Like you have JD Vance out here literally saying that he wants to ban abortion for everything, even for rape and incest. You have someone who basically says that you need to stay in a marriage, even if you're getting abused, which makes me wonder if his wife, who is Indian, so if y'all gonna try to pull that angle, it's like, sir, how do you feel about your wife? Your wife is of Indian descent, and Kamala is part Indian. So how y'all gonna make this work? Like y'all were trying to use, I guess, JD Vance because of the thing with him and how he's a grifter and basically just says whatever he can to get ahead, give head to get ahead, because that's truly how I feel like how he got where he's gotten, and he thinks that people buying into it. So now with all this stuff going on, now I'm hearing that the Republicans are second guessing the fact of, damn, why did we pick this guy? Because what exactly does JD Vance do to kind of tip the balance of what Trump's already about? You have two guys who are basically on the same page with the same narrative saying the same thing. So the smart thing is, like, we know what Kamala is all about because she worked hand in hand with Joe Biden on a lot of the policies they put forward. Unemployment, everything's down. There's a lot of things that they've moved forward in, this, that, and the other. And, now she's got to decide on the VP pick, who can balance that out and who would be a great choice, especially when she's got to go pick all those, bring all those people over from that are kind of undecided or, moderates and that sort of thing. And I do feel like she needs to go for a moderate Democrat, like someone that floats within the middle. And they have a short list, courtesy of the Daily Mail, on who they think that would be some interesting choices that that are some interesting choices that Kamala is looking at to be the VP nominees. So, it took maybe I'm not sorry. It took future Madam President, I'll just say that. because as I will it, it shall happen. Kamala Harris, less than 2 days after President Biden dropped out of the presidential race to lock in enough delegates to become the presumptive Democratic presidential nominee. Now the Democratic presidential ticket needs a vice presidential candidate, with just weeks before delegates must formally vote for the nominations and just over 100 days until the election. The name of the number of top Democratic governors, lawmakers, and other party leaders have all been floated for potential running mates. So the ones that they're saying that she's looking at is Arizona Senator Mark Kelly, North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper, Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro, Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer, Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker, and Minnesota Governor Tim Walz. And this is according to the Wall Street Journal. And this is what they reported yesterday. So for me, I shouldn't, before I give you who I think should go in, they said that noticeably absent, I should say, Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear and Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg, who I like to call every now and again Pete Booty Plug. So apparently Pete Buttigieg's name is not on the ticket. And I'm like, I'm not surprised that Pete Buttigieg is not on the ticket. Number one, I already said, as much as I would love to see a woman and a gay man as the president and vice president, we gotta crawl before we can walk. And I don't know if America is ready for homosexual to be, in second in command. So we gotta just take what we can and we need to dot every I and cross every T. There's no time to be playing no games and really trying to, risk a little too much dealing with them crazies over there, the maggots. So for me personally, I would love to see, my choices are either Mark Kelly from Arizona and Josh Shapiro. Like I said, I'm more for Josh Shapiro, and it's because, he's a battleground state governor and was one of the first Democratic leaders to push back on replacing Biden following his stumbling debate performance. But they're saying it's not clear whether he would join the Harris ticket, but that name is going around. I'm sure he probably is. So they said that Shapiro endorsed President Harris for the nomination, saying he's known Kamala for nearly 2 decades. We both been prosecutors. We both stood up for the rule of law. We both fought for the people and delivered results. Now, Kamala Harris is a patriot worthy of our support, and she will continue to work for generations of Americans that came before us to perfect our union, protect our democracy, and advance real freedom. She has served the country honorably as vice president, and she is ready to be president. So the Keystone State governor also said the best path forward for the Democratic Party is to quickly unite behind I don't know. I keep calling her President Harris. Don't that sound good? President Harris, and refocus on winning the presidency. He vowed he will do everything he can to help elect her as the next president. So, like I said, I like Josh Shapiro, and then with Mark Kelly, I know everybody's saying Gretchen Whitmer, but I'm like, 2 women. I don't know. That might be, like I said, we gotta walk. I just feel like it would probably be a safer bet for her to go with a white male that can bring all those undecided over to her side. She's already been working to get a lot of GOP women, especially when you have, the Trumpers going around saying that they want all rape to be banned. Like they don't care if you were raped or if it was, if you were raped by or just some dude off the street, your own husband, or if your child was molested by somebody. Because I truly believe some of that's been going on in the Trump household, allegedly. So with Senator Mark Kelly, they said that his name has also been thrown in the mix, and the 60-year-old senator and retired astronaut. Oh, he's an astronaut. I didn't know that. From the important battleground state, praised President. Well, that's one thing he got over Trump. It's like, yeah, he actually been to the moon. Somebody needs to knock Trump to the fucking moon with all that bullshit he be saying. So they said, I couldn't be more confident that Vice President Kamala Harris is the right person to defeat Donald Trump and lead our country into the future. As we wrote on X, she has my support for the nomination, and Gabby and I will do everything we can. I guess Gabby's his wife. To elect her president of the United States. And it said, Kelly also called Biden one of the most consequential presidents in history. I will agree with that. Say what you want about him with the stuff with Israel, Palestine, and all that, but he has been one of our most consequential presidents in history and has gotten a lot done. And I feel like years from now, when we look back, people will see all the work that he's done. And like I said, there's been some things within his policy as a Democrat that has disappointed me, but for the most part, he has done more than a lot of people. Trust and believe on that. And they said that he praised him as someone who puts what he believes is best for the country above all else. So, if you want to read all the other people that were added to the situation, you could definitely head over to my website, chrisavalon.com, and read down the full list. And for me, overall, I will say this. While I think it would be awesome, because I did think that I said, you know what, I want Gavin Newsom. I think he would be a cool VP. Who knows, maybe down the road in 2028, that's if Kamala doesn't plan on running for 2 terms as president when she wins. Maybe he can eye a 2028 campaign. But from what I've heard, that you cannot have 2 people from the same state on the same ticket. So Gavin Newsom is out. I actually like Wes Moore. But basically what I was hearing is that he's not interested in the Oval Office right now. And I also think because he's relatively new, he needs to get a little more dirt under his fingernails before he can even think about taking on one of the biggest gigs of the free world. And I like Beat Booty Blood, but as a woman of color, but as I said yesterday, as a woman of color and a homosexual on the ticket, I feel like it will send conservatives into cardiac arrest and probably give them a brain aneurysm both at the damn same time. So, we got to tread lightly. So my choice, personally, I would say I'm going with Governor Josh Shapiro. That's actually my choice. So whatever your choice is on the matter, I will say, let me know what you guys think of whatever your choice is in the comments down below. If y'all been following the politics, that is. So let me know in the comments down below. Okay, so before we get to the Kamala and Montel story, let's see what the peoples are saying. Kamala. My name is Kamala. See, now I can't stop thinking that's saying that stupid song. As a Young Turks is pissed and basically taking fuck the Young Turks. Because you want to know something? I was actually thinking about watching it because I was tempted so bad. Because there was a clip, there was a headline or something I read or something or another where they were mentioning something about that the conservatives are having a meltdown because of this, bomb that basically the Democrats dropped on them, which got some people thinking, was this the plan all along that y'all was just sitting there just making people think that the calls was coming from inside the House, and there was a lot of craziness, infighting going on within the Democratic Party for Biden to step down, and that was supposed to be the distraction to kind of get the Republicans think, oh yeah, we got our, we got this in the bag, and we're gonna win, and we could just, it's gonna be a landslide, and it's gonna be easy for us, and so let's pick JD Vance, and then all of a sudden, after the RNC is over, then they drop the bomb. I don't know if we could give the Democrats that much credit. I think they just lucked out. But I do think there was some infighting going on. I do think there was some calls, some shadiness going on from inside the House. I do feel like there were people within the Democratic Party trying to take Biden down and being all loudly vocal about the fact of, oh yeah, you need to step down, you need to, because we're gonna look bad, and we're gonna lose, and y'all shouldn't have been saying that shit out loud. Y'all should not have been spilling, doing off the record type of having these conversations with reporters, or anonymous conversations, not off the record, because if it was off the record, they wouldn't be able to use it. But if y'all should have been having these conversations where it's just like, oh, keep my name out of it, but this is what's going on in the whole thing. And then you're putting it in Axios and all these other places. And then you're getting these Republicans all excited thinking, oh yeah, we got in the bag. This racism thing is working. Because clearly they thought it was going to work with the whole Kamala thing with Montel. And we're going to talk about that in a second. So why would they want to be taking the DNC? Like, they got the money. First of all, the Young Turks basically makes their money off of people subscribing and donating to their stupid ass channel. So what money they got that they can pay to sue the DNC? They said because they didn't allow the American people to vote. If this was February of this year, did the American people vote for Trump? It's like, Young Turks gonna need to go sit their ass down somewhere. Cenk is a damn idiot. It's like Maya Rudolph as Kamala Harris and Alec Baldwin as Donald Trump. Now that, well, yeah, we always liked when Alec Baldwin has played Donald Trump. I think, well, I guess compared to how old Donald Trump is, yeah, but JD Child, facial hair, no facial hair, JD Vance still look like somebody who's pushing 50. He do look old. See, that's when y'all be out here being mean and hateful to people, and that shit ages you 20 years. JD Vance is their Sarah Palin. That killed McCain bid because they were both. Yeah. Wait, Sarah Palin was 39 when she ran? Why do I think she was older? Maybe it was the glasses. It said Gavin Newsom is the most popular VP pick in terms of popularity and name recognition outside of Cali, but also, yeah, but like I said, because of the stupid rule, I don't think he could be the pick. I said the first guy is my state governor. Oh no. Wait, who? Oh, you talking about the one that was in the picture. That's what about. So it said the name I've seen is Mark Kelly of Arizona, whose wife was almost unalived in 2012, but we're like, wait until 2028. We need him for Senate. I was gonna say I like Josh Shapiro. That's my choice. And it's I love who you telling? I'm loving it too. I got my popcorn. I got everything. I was like, I'm living for the fact that they fighting. They're having a meltdown and they're all shitting a brick because it's like they didn't. We debated Biden. We spent all this money on Biden because that's how they sound when they talk, like they slow. So they spent all this time not realizing that they pulled the ultimate move. And I'm like, there's no rule that said that they couldn't do this. That when the president couldn't step down and pass the torch to the VP, because you can't do that. Technically, he's still the president. So, and I do agree with that. I think Gavin is better for a bid in 2028 because I feel like then he can run on his own situation rather than, having to be attached to Kamala or whatever the case is. Because, like they said, people from the same state cannot run on the same ticket. But anyway, speaking of Kamala, my name is Kamala. I don't know. So now, ever since that she did that stupid song, I can't stop saying it. So Montel, apparently, you remember the old former talk show host, and I did not know this when I first read this article. So they say he woke up Monday morning to a series of tweets about his brief relationship with presumptive Democratic presidential nominee Kamala Harris, whom he expressed support for by retweeting Maryland Governor Wes Moore's resounding endorsement. So I never knew that he actually dated Kamala Harris. I'm like, where was I? And another thing I didn't know, because I posted this and I may have to check it, but I didn't know this may be true. But then they showed a picture of her with like this old flock of seagulls haircut. Did y'all know that Kamala used to play in a German synth pop band? I was like, let me find out. Miss Mom was out here in the music stuff too. But I guess she had to get serious about, you know, um, the music is not a guarantee that's going to pay the bills. So now I got to be out here and I actually need to actually do something that I can make some money and a living doing. So they said Montel Williams, it said, as you no doubt heard over the weekend, current POTUS Joe Biden, following months of questions and pressure, including the leading celeb donor George Clooney, which people was mad about. And I remember I was watching The View, and they were sitting there talking about, oh, y'all shouldn't have been doing all of this, like going in on Joe Biden and telling him to step down and all this other mess. And it's like, on one hand, I do agree with some of the stuff that Anna was saying and Sonny was saying, but I also agree with what Sarah Haynes was saying. And I do feel like, regardless of the sides, we should question our party if something ain't right. If we're not agreeing with certain policies that they're jumping in on, we should be able to question the people that we put in office and vice versa. And when it comes over there, I'm not doing the whole I stand in lockstep because we know then basically we become blue MAGA and we're no different than the other ones. So he said, my very first decision as the party nominee in 2020 was to pick Kamala Harris as my vice president. And it's been the best decision I've made. This is what Biden said on Sunday. Today, I want to offer my full support and endorsement for Kamala to be the nominee of our party this year. Democrats, it's time to come together and beat Trump. Let's do this. Now, naturally, some use the news to again resurface photos and footage of Williams and Harris circa 2001. Specifically, what was making the rounds as of Monday morning can be traced back to the 8th annual race to erase multiple sclerosis benefit at the Century Plaza Hotel in Century City, California in May of 2001. Williams himself has said that he and Harris briefly dated during this period, saying back in 2019 that he had a great respect for the future VP. Williams took a similarly critical stance on the latest resurfacing of the Harris pics, promising an unpleasant reaction to anyone going so far as to reach out for official comment. He said, and I quote, "I've said what I'm going to say about the thing that keeps trending," Williams said in a Twitter update on Monday. "My friends in the media should think twice about wasting time on a 20-plus-year-old picture. You will find doing so will earn an unpleasant reaction." Later, Williams made a prediction about the volume of creepy media requests he expected to see flooding in. Meanwhile, a fresh report from TMZ notes that Williams has signaled his willingness to throw his support behind Harris in the upcoming election. Amid such chatter on Monday, the daytime TV personality and Naval Academy alum pointed to his retweeting of a Harris endorsement message from Maryland Governor Wes Moore, saying the reality is, oh, sorry, that was me. I was about to read what I wrote because I was like on my article, but I was like, yeah, there's like nothing there. There's like nothing to see here. That's basically what this is the case of. Nothing to see here. There's nothing to report. The fact of the matter is Republicans were just hit with like that knockout punch. They got a bit of a concussion right now. They're feeling a little like, what's happening? Like, I don't know where I'm at. But that's basically what they're giving you right now. And it's just like they're trying to gain focus. And the first thing that they do is they do the racial dog whistles, talk about that she's ungrateful about being in America and she seems like she's unpleasant and ungrateful. Then they start making fun of her laugh. And then they start doing this. So it's all, and then talking about her outfits. Y'all did the same shit to Hillary when she ran. It's like, what do you want her to wear? Do you want her to have her ass cheeks hanging out? I mean, we already know that y'all like, that's the part of grabbing women by the pussy and taking things that don't belong to you. So you're upset about what? Like, what is she supposed to wear? She's supposed to look presidential. Y'all are scared. You're shitting a brick. You don't know what to do. So you go to the typical stuff, which is, I'm going to make, the racial dog whistle, the misogyny, and all that other mess. And if y'all don't want, and if people on the Democratic side out here bitching and moaning about her being the presidential nominee, if not her, then who? I'm willing to hear a name come out of y'all mouth, because if at this point, if y'all don't want Kamala Harris, I guess you're voting for Trump. So we knew this from the moment. The minute they got shooketh for points, the reality is Republicans are shaking in their boots because, and that's Republican with 3 Ks. And they're shaking in their boots because the Democratic Party pulled the ultimate checkmate and dropped an unexpected bomb on him by choosing the VP as the future Madam President. So at this point, like I said, y'all are desperately grasping at straws by saying an old video where Kamala is using a coconut reference means that she's racist. And here's the thing, too. I did not understand what the hell would that coconut tree reference mean was going on. And so I had to look it up. So they said that basically it started with a speech made by Harris in May of 2023 while at a swearing-in ceremony for the White House initiative on advancing educational equity, excellence, and economic opportunities for Hispanics. Say that 10 times fast. That's the longest freaking ceremony name. Now, they said during the speech, the vice president attempted to make the point that young people could sometimes feel that they exist in a silo, meaning that nothing beyond their immediate circumstance affects them. In doing so, she quoted her own mother saying, "I don't know what's wrong with you young people. You think you just fell out of a coconut tree." And saying like, y'all just think that the world just revolves around y'all and you're basically not seeing past your own nose. That's basically what that means. But they were trying to say, oh, because she said coconut, this is where I don't know. Y'all, I hope y'all got a good goddamn chiropractor for the reach that a lot of you saltines have been out here trying to do. We're trying to make Kamala Harris come across like she's only black on the outside but white on the inside, because I've heard that too. So I don't know so I didn't understand that whole coconut thing, but that was a nice try. It ain't gonna work because apparently people took to social media and started with their own memes. They said a U.S. Senator from Hawaii named Brian Schatz posted a picture climbing a real coconut tree with a pledge of allegiance to Harris. Then there was another person by the name of Cha Osei, a Democratic member of the New York City Council, also posted a picture edit of various clips of Harris on Wednesday, set to RuPaul's Call Me Mother, captioned Coconut Tree Summer. Another Twitter user termed Harris' election campaign as Operation Coconut Tree, saying, Kamala, execute Operation Coconut Tree. We need you. Several further fans have even referred to their support of Harris as being coconut pilled in a reference to the Matrix. Well, they might as well change it because now you got Republicans out here talking about that they're red pilling or they're trying to, pull that as what their thing is, that they're free. I'm like, no, you're not. But anyway, so then they also said a gay bar in Washington, D.C. called Bunker also got in on the action with a Kamala coconut themed promo for a club night hitting the internet just hours after Biden's announcement. I got to show y'all that. Hold on a second. So yeah, there's that picture here. I don't even know if y'all could oh yeah, I think that is the whole thing. Oh yeah, that is because I was like, wait, y'all cut her eyes off. That's the whole photo. So while Republicans out here are basically trying to start this foolishness, you know. Oh, child, and even Kesha jumped in on it. Hold on a second. So now I gotta pull that up too. But no, let's focus on this one. I like this picture the best. So so I say all this to say, it is clearly shows that they are threatened by a strong woman of color running against one of the most moronic people on the Republican ticket. So y'all could try as much as y'all like with the racial and misogynistic dog whistles and all of that stuff. That you could do whatever you could pull all the stunts and shows that y'all want. It was cute for the couple of weeks that y'all were able to do it and get away with it, but it ain't gonna work. And she is the Democratic nominee. I want to keep people say, oh, hopeful. It's not hopeful. She's the Democratic nominee. She is running for president. Donald Trump does not want to run against her. He's even trying to remove the next debate that's happening in September from ABC. He wants to go to Fox News because he actually thinks that by going to Fox News, he's going to be able to have a leg up. It doesn't matter. She's going to show up in that room, whether it's Fox News, MSNBC, ABC, or even Nickelodeon. She's going to show up prepared, know all the things that should bring a lot of decades of experience in politics and the legal system, which have dodged, speaking of Matrix, more times than Neo dodges bullets in the fucking Matrix. And she's going to be able to bring things to the table that you wish that you'll be able to do, but you can't, because what's going to happen is you stay on course for 2 seconds and then you go on off the rails about Hannibal Lecter and all this other crazy shit, like the old drunken grandfather with dementia that sits off in the corner while everybody else, the one that goes and grabs your ass when you walk past. Like, that's what Donald Trump gives us. The uncle you don't want to bring to the backyard barbecue. So I say all this is this, shout out to Kamala and Wakanda forever, bitch. So I say all this to say, because that was a lot. What do y'all think of this story in regards to the whole Kamala and the little stunts and shows that the Republicans are desperately and obviously trying to pull? Like, it's gonna be hard for them to try to figure out a way to come at her. Y'all don't have nothing on her. Yeah, she's never been convicted of a crime. She's never bribed people. She's never slept with a male prostitute or OnlyFans model. Like, she's never done any of those things. And what's gonna be the ultimate gag, because all they could get to show up at the Republican National Convention, and that's when we're gonna find out who the Democratic VP nominee will be at the Democratic National Convention. I believe that's next month in the middle of August. What this means basically is, like, who are they gonna get to perform? So y'all could only get Kid Rock, but y'all really gonna gag when she pulls Beyonce up on stage and comes out and sings. She already got Freedom, the Beyonce song. She already had the permission to use that song to come out to. So if she get Beyonce or even Taylor Swift or somebody, they really gonna be big mad, because all y'all could get is a fucking Kid Rock who ain't had a hit in like 2 decades. And also, I didn't even know this, and I posted this video. I should have posted on my Instagram, but I posted on my Facebook. Kid Rock, I didn't know this about his past. He comes from a wealthy family and pretended to be like this, pull himself up by his bootstrap, because his father was a car dealer person and he comes from a lot of money. And so he's no different than Donald Trump. That's why they relate. But then he went and rejudged his whole thing because he was trying to find a way to snake his way into the music business. So he is no different than Donald Trump in the way that they move around and they finagle their way into spaces because they want to seem like they're of the people, but they're not. And JD Vance, if they can find a way to get a leg up, that's what they're going to do. So Let me know what y'all think of all this Kamala stuff in the comments down below. Okay, so now we have said they wanted him to step down to the Republicans, and now they are complaining. Exactly. Y'all got what y'all wanted. Y'all wanted him to step down. You want him to drop out. He dropped out. He did what y'all wanted. It's the same thing with the Democrats. All you people that wanted him to step down, now it's time for y'all to step y'all pussies up and get the fucking work. Get your shoes on, get your hands dirty. It's time for y'all to get out there and start doing the work to get Kamala Harris elected. That's what y'all got to do, because the same ones that was in that corner talking about y'all want to get him out of the way, that he's gonna fuck up the thing. It's time for y'all to step up and do y'all job. Don't just be hiding off in the corner running off at your mouth. Y'all gotta step up, step your pussy up, in the words of T.S. Madison. So, and they did what you look. They always say, "Ask and you shall receive." Right? Or be careful what you wish for, because it just might get it. It wasn't just the Pussycat Dolls that said that. It's been a lot that's been going on for years, for eons, for decades, for centuries, maybe even. I don't know, but yeah, so it just comes to that. It's like he stepped down. Y'all wanted him to step down. He stepped down. Now y'all mad because it's like, yeah, the one person that y'all didn't want him to step up. I mean, to step up on, and the two that I mentioned earlier, Mark Kelly and you know, what was it? Oh, yeah, I remember you did say that it was Mark Kelly that you wanted. Who was? Oh my God, how did I forget the other damn name that I said that I wanted? It's like I hate when I'm having conversations and I will forget people and their names. So the two big names, the one I wanted, and then Mark Kelly. Those are the two Democratic names that I heard that the Trump campaign are afraid that Kamala will pick. So definitely, I hope that they are the ones that are picked. But anyway, it says, can I just say how wonderful it is to see someone with the same skin color and heritage on the ticket ballot for prez? Yeah, even though you have some people out here, N words, that's been pissing me off. It's about she's not black. Get off my line with that bullshit. Does it fucking matter? We have a woman of color who's running for president. Stop with that she ain't black shit. Neither are you. So I don't want to hear no negativity in regards to that. I don't want no Kamala Harris negativity. Like, I'm putting my rose-colored glasses, I've got my blinders, I've got all that on. We have to do what we got to do to get this asshole to not be getting his ass back in the office. So with that whole shit about talking about she ain't black, I don't know. Did you fuck her parents? Or are you one of her? Are you a mother or her father? Like, who are you to tell who someone is and is not black? Says Brad Summer for Kamala Harris, that even through so much anger when Gen Z's pop star Charlie XCX endorsed Kamala Harris. That's scared. I mean, who do they have endorsing? Nobody likes Trump. So Kamala is Beyonce and Charlie XCX. If she gets Taylor Swift, oh, you already know she's getting Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift is definitely gonna throw her endorsement her way. Kid Rock, okay, and we already know Hulk Hogan's a damn racist. When it said they both has-beens, and Sheryl Crow basically removed a picture from her greatest hits album. Oh, she did? Does that mean because then if it's that she would have to pay him money or whatever? I said, yeah. I was like, she's gonna secure everything. So she is the nominee. So y'all either shit or get off the pot, is what I'm saying, with everybody who's still indecisive. And Nikki Haley done shot herself in the foot. We don't agree on a lot of things, but I say that Donald Trump is the perfect person to be president. I'm like, this old flip-flopping fake-ass bitch. I'm like, if she don't get her little dusty ass, first of all, I'm not even calling her Nikki Haley. Let's call her by her real name. Let's call her Nimrata, because that's what she is. She don't even like the fact to admit that her ass is of Indian descent. So we're gonna call her Nimrata for now on. I love calling out the little tap dancers who supposed to be the people of color who sit and tap dance for that white approval. And I know that her fan base, the ones that were still left on the sidelines, disappointed in her endorsing Trump, they were still kind of like on the sidelines, not knowing what to do. Like, who do we vote for? Like, I don't know. We're still kind of left out here in the wind. And then she goes and endorses him. Now I know her fan base was like, oh, hell no. Now this bitch done bend the knee and kiss the fucking ring. And this is what she doing? So now I feel like, Kamala, This is the time to go snatch at them Nimrata Haley votes. You better snag them because she can't be trusted. And I've been knew her ass couldn't be trusted. She flip-flop more than the flip-flop people wear on their feet. Trump is scared because she'll show he's just like Biden with condom. Well, on many of things. And the fact of the matter is he's afraid of strong women. He doesn't, the person that prosecuted him was a black man. Then, black women have always constantly gone after him. Like, especially when we talk about Letitia James. When she was up in that damn courtroom every day, smug and smiling, I was living for it. When she would look at that camera and get that look, I was like, you better work, sis. I was like, I didn't know either that she dated Montel. And I used to watch Montel Williams' show growing up. I used to think he was so handsome because, I always like a strong black man, especially when he was in the military. I was like, oh, you could throw me, back in my bottoming days. I'd have been like, you could throw my ass up against the wall and just take it. Take my booty. Not no more because, I tops now. As I said, 360 for Kamala vote. For Kamala, spice up your vote for Kamala. Vote for Kamala one more time. Not the now you're doing. I was like, what are you talking about? So you got 360 as in Charlie XCX, and the other ones basically Spice Girl reference. And it said, to be honest, I saw him more as I saw Biden more as you know what? I agree with that. I kind of saw Biden as a one-term president too. I did not see him as a two-term. And here's the thing: what I don't understand about people, and when it comes to politics, I had to move my microphone. I was like, why do y'all who died and said that there's a guarantee that you automatically get two terms? Where in the book does it say that every president should get a two-term situation? And if the plan from the beginning, like Biden said, is that I picked her because I wanted her to be the future president. And then people was, then that should have been what you follow. Or maybe that was the thing. I don't know. Maybe he thought that he had it in the bag, but it's like, you know what? With that thing that happened with the debate, and he stumbled big time, and then on top of the fact he has COVID, I feel like that it made it really worse. And yeah, with all the traveling and stuff, I don't feel like he had 4 more years left in him. Kamala is much younger. She's more agile. She's able to run around and do all the things. And people have to realize that being the so this is why I get irritated, because I just feel like, and this is what irritated me about Whoopi Goldberg, because she was like, oh, well, the narrative is basically that y'all just trying to make it seem like old people are just weak and they can't do that. Like, trust and believe, I know that old people are definitely capable of doing a lot of things. My father is 70 and still moves, well, about to be 70 in August 21st. And he does the same shit at my age. Like, he's fixing things around his house, doing all kinds of things. He still move around like he's 35, 40. So if you have the cognitive and physical ability to do the things, then nobody's saying that you can't do it. But when you look at Joe Biden, he is frail. We cannot, dismiss that. And Trump is half-past crazy, but y'all don't care about Trump. All y'all care about is getting a win. That's all y'all care about. Y'all don't really care about policy or where y'all plan on taking the country, to the future. All y'all care about is, okay, we got this cuckoo crazy reality TV reject who could just sit out here and make all this noise and act the damn fool. And that's that. So the fact of the matter is, we have somebody younger who can go in and do the job. Like, you have to realize, being the president, it's a lot of work, a lot of hours, and sleepless nights. It's a tough job. And yeah, if I don't think that you could be 80 years old or something or another and do that job. And they always compare, well, Joy Behar's around that same. I'm like, Joy Behar works 1 hour a fucking day for 4 days a week. That is not the same as being the president of the United States. It's like with me doing this show. Sometimes I said, well, I'm not even my age. It's like I'm 40 years younger than, Joy Behar, however the hell old she is. I know she's in her 80s, but I don't know how 80 what. I don't know if it's 80, 81, 82, 83. But I'll say I'm 4 decades younger than her. So me is like, I could do a show 4 or 5 hours like I do, every other day or whenever I could do it 3, 4 times a week. And I'm not like what Biden is doing. So I can imagine like being a politician and doing that type of job. It's a lot of work, it's a lot of hours, a lot of demand, it's a lot of things. And Trump just going to sit on his ass, wide ass, and not do a fucking thing and just make it seem like he's signing stuff. But all these other people are the ones that's pulling the puppet strings behind the scenes. So I do agree with that. That I always saw one-term president from him, and said he could have, but Biden wanted to heal from losing his son Bo in 2015. He definitely would have been in 2016, but a parent has to mourn. Well, from what I was hearing is that Biden wanted to run, but they didn't want him to because they were talking about Hillary. They were trying to push him aside and Bernie aside, and they wanted Hillary Clinton on the ticket. And to me personally, it's like, yeah, Hillary looked great because who she was married to and what all the shit she put up with Bill. But reality states is that she was not a good candidate to be president of the United States, and she shouldn't have been chosen to go up against Donald Trump. Y'all thought the same thing Trump did. Y'all thought y'all had that easy win because it's like, oh yeah, I'm the political one that knows everything, and I'm going up against a reality star. She don't have the chutzpah that Kamala Harris does. She doesn't have the clapback game that a woman of color like Kamala does. So, and that's what you need. Y'all want, are you not entertained? Because that's basically what this is becoming. This is what our political game has become. It's become a scene out of fucking Gladiator. It's like literally y'all want entertainment, you want stunts and shows, you want somebody you could pop open a beer with and to be charismatic and to give personality and y'all want to act like this shit is the WWE. So guess what? Be ready for the fight, the ultimate smackdown because that's what y'all about to get in September. And trust and believe Trump is about to get the shit smacked out of him going up against Kamala at the next debate that he doesn't want to do apparently, but you're going to have to because remember, sir, you want to be president, you got to do the things that is required for you to be the president. He said Nimrata's fan base is going. Of course they are, because you know what? Nimrata is an idiot. So I said, do you think we'll ever have a president as young as? I would hope so. I really kind of wish that I would have lived during the time of JFK, but I didn't. That was like my parents' era. So I would have liked to have been able to see Donald. I would have loved to have been able to witness John F. Kennedy. But you know what? I was born in the time I was born. And to me, being able to witness, and I have to say, I haven't felt this type of energy since, when Barack Obama was running. I feel like it's that same energy coming back. That's why I was like that shift I felt. I would love to be able to live during a lifetime where I could see the first black male president, who y'all also trying to say was a black, could be biracial. Same dog whistles that the Republicans are using, the same ones some of you black people are using too, and it's pissing me off. So you have Barack Obama being the first black president, and then we have Kamala Harris going to be the first woman president and the first woman president of color. So that's what I would like. I was like, I want to see that during my life because we've seen on TV and movies, we could have female presidents in a movie. We could have female presidents on 24 and so many other political shows, which nobody has a problem with. But all of a sudden, when all this stuff comes up, all of a sudden everybody want to talk about woke and all that crap. Like, fuck out of here. Fuck out of here with the bullshit. So it said, I think Biden deep down wanted to do just one term. I believe he felt obligated to keep going because it was Trump again and the danger he poses. Yeah, and I was like, they probably were like, I know you care deeply for the country. I know that, you're putting country over party, which is what the opposite doesn't do. But maybe he thought like, yeah, I could win it again. And then when they looked at it, it was like, you know what? It's not looking good. I understand this was the initial plan, but we have to change course. But the way that the Democrats went about it irked my damn nerve. So I'm glad that they were able to course correct to get everything, get us back on board. And yes, George Clooney, even though we windmilled on him for doing what he did publicly, he is endorsing Kamala Harris. So there's that. So I do think like it was a smart thing. And I think I was more upset because of me hearing the stories of they're trying to get Biden out because they don't want Kamala to run. But Kamala is the best option. And clearly, what y'all have seen happen within the last 48 hours, or is it 72 at this point? I don't know. I ain't been keeping up. It's just been a lot happening in the past two plus days that I'm going. Let's just go with past 72. Let's just be on the safe side. So within that period, it just feels like, you know what? She is the perfect choice to be able to steer us in the right direction and to take on Trump, especially with her record as a criminal prosecutor and a sex crimes prosecutor. So who knows? I wish, but millennials born in 88 or 89 don't want to. My generation is traumatized and trying to live life as they're young. Most of them have generational trauma. We all have, trust and believe, we all have our generational traumas. I have my generational trauma as well that I'm working on. And so I keep saying we need younger people in office because technology is always evolving. And even if you know what, if we need young people in office, even if they don't run for president, Kamala Harris needs to surround herself with a lot of young people in regards of PR, people that work behind the, people that work behind the scenes, people working on her social media, that sort of thing. So that way she could tap into that. Like so far, whoever, like I said, whoever's been doing the marketing has been doing a phenomenal job. To even change her background to like the green with the black font, the Charlie XCX brat font and all that other stuff, that marketed towards that, the new generation of the younger generation of kids, the Gen Zers that's coming that are into Charlie XCX and everything and all this other music. For her to tap into that, she is on the right track of tapping into the younger voters who weren't that on board with Biden. So I feel like I've turned this whole half this episode into a political show. But we talk about all the things on here. See, this is why I told you I could do. One of the things that I've been glad that I've been able to do is that I could talk celebrity. I could talk anything on this damn show, and we have like-minded people that could come on and go back and forth. So we could talk celebrity news and gossip. We could talk music. We could talk movies, and we could talk politics. Not everybody has that skill. Was that me throwing shade? No, not really. I'm just saying it's good to be versed. Literally and figuratively. And so Obama was our youngest president. What was he in? How old was Obama? Was he in his 40s when he ran? Well, I know 35 is the where you can actually run for president. It said Hillary is also hated because of Benghazi emails. I admit she had it. They knew it. But FBI found emails in the investigation. Also, I didn't particularly care for Hillary when she was our senator of New York. I said it feels like Obama 2.0 in that movement. Where is Oprah? Though she's why Obama won. And so, well, I think Oprah will come out, but in due time, maybe when Beyonce comes out, then Oprah will come out. This ain't Texas. I said because we shade Oprah, but Oprah played a huge hand in Obama going to the White House in 2008. I don't know. People have kind of shifted on Oprah. I feel like a lot of people have just been irritated with her lately. So I don't know. Maybe we need to just test the waters with Oprah because I don't know. I tell you, people was fickle. Like back in 2008, we were still living for Oprah, but like it's like once social media became this big thing, TikTok and all this other stuff started becoming this thing. I just noticed this shift on people like really disliking Oprah. So I don't know. I mean, as much as I would think that it would be good for Oprah to come out and endorse, and maybe Tyler Perry. I mean, that's the least he could do and stop giving us some shitty ass movies he be making, and actually just endorse and get the church folks involved. But I think they're already going to vote for Miss Kamala, Madam President. Last question, and it's a big one. Do y'all think Michelle Obama? No, she won't. I didn't even need to finish that. Like, no, she first of all, she hated politics, to a point. She has been, I think, very. I was going to say verbal or vocal. I couldn't decide on which word to use, but she's been very vocal about how politics has been very time consuming and that sort of thing. And and if she was irritated by the shadiness of politics while she was in the White House with her husband, I can't see her ever wanting to run and even get involved. So no, I don't think Michelle Obama will ever run. So I know a lot of people want her to run, but no, she has no political aspirations. And so they think any black person in a position of power is higher because the child, don't even get me started on the whole DEI hire shit because that's what they was trying to say about her too, about Kamala. Oh, she's a DEI hire. That's how she got the job. I said, oh, really? So how did Trump get to be president? Because he has no experience in any of the things. He has no legal, I mean, he does have legal experience. He's been in and out of courtrooms, windmilling, trying, over not paying his taxes, over sexually assaulting women. I mean, we can go, the list goes on. A divorce court. Do we need to go on and on? The Telegraph just put out an article about how she's the only one she is the only one. We used to about Kamala, right? Because I said, I know you're not going to say Michelle Obama. I was like, no, Michelle, not because then, hey, Michelle, then we have to do that, and they'd be like, You mind running, girl? Is the bus still running? You mind running for president? No, she ain't doing that. She's like, well, fuck this country. Shit. A lot of people was ready to just get their damn passport and leave the country. I already told my friend Joe Bond, I said, you better make room for me because Chris about to move up in your apartment in Spain. Shit, I'm gonna have to get the Rosetta Stone out and try to freshen up on my Espanol, but I was like, I was ready to leave. But then again, I was like, you know what? The best thing to do is sit in. Oh my God, hold on. They said the Telegraph said Michelle would be the only one that could beat Trump. Doesn't make sense to me. Okay. So now let's get into the next topic. I was like, what is the next topic? Because I was like, yeah, we had a lot of Kamala Harris news. And so now let's get into this Chris Brown story. So yesterday we talked a little bit about it. Now I had them already my topics and everything that was, you know, up and running, that sort of thing. But during the show, it was mentioned that Chris Brown was being sued. Now I was like, what is he being sued for now? I didn't know what the tea was. I didn't know what's going on. But apparently, um, there's been some word that he got into another physical altercation with some people, and now he's being sued for assault, per usual. I don't know why anybody's surprised, but let's get into it. Excuse me. So it said Chris Brown has been named in a $50 million lawsuit with his confidant, Cinco Siege, rapper Yellow Beezy, and the corporation Live Nation in connection with a series of alleged attacks that occurred on Brown's 11/11 tour in Fort Worth, Texas. Larry Parker, Joseph Lewis, Charles Bush, and DeMarcus Powell filed the suit in Harris County, Texas today against Brown as well as his tour partner Live Nation, Cinco Siege, Hood Boss, and Yellow Beezy. In addition to the payment, the four plaintiffs are asking for a temporary restraining order against all defendants. Now, according to the complaint, which was first reported by TMZ and obtained by Variety, Brown and his crew severely beat the plaintiffs following the singer's performance as part of his 11/11 tour at Dickies Arena in Fort Worth, Texas this past Friday. The four men were invited. Well, somebody's about to be indicted once this goes to court, were invited backstage after the set to meet Brown, who showed up 30 minutes later than anticipated. Before leaving, Bush approached Brown to congratulate him on the show, prompting a member of the singer's entourage to remind Brown that the two previously had issues. Brown allegedly said, "Oh, yeah, we were. What's up, N-word? I don't forget ish." The suit states that Brown and 7 to 10 members of his entourage proceeded to assault Bush and punch him in the chest, and claims that Hood Boss picked up a chair and threw it at Bush's head. What is this, the WWE? What, y'all don't know how to fight? It's like, first of all, y'all got to jump somebody, and then y'all got to pick up chairs and beat somebody. Like, y'all don't know how to fight a fair one? And what this is weird is, based off of what I'm reading, it sounds like it was a setup. Like y'all literally set these people up to come backstage because y'all had issues with them in the past, and y'all probably thought that he forgot, and now y'all went and beat them up. So it said the suit goes on to claim that Brown and his crew turned their attention to Parker, who tried to escape down a staircase that led to a locked door. Upon instruction from Brown, Parker was allegedly punched in the face and chest and kicked in the head for over 10 minutes. The suit also states that Powell was punched in the shoulder, while Lewis was hit in the shoulder and chest. All plaintiffs were injured and are currently undergoing medical treatment. Reps for Brown, Beasley, and Live Nation did not respond to Variety's request for comment. Now, they said no one should have to endure what these clients endure. This is what the plaintiff's attorney, Tony Busby, in a statement shared with Variety. He will seek the maximum amount of damages followed by law for his egregious conduct. Now, they said this marks the latest legal issue for Brown, who has been accused of violent misconduct in the past. We already know about when he assaulted Rihanna back in 2009, and 3 years later, he was involved in an altercation with Drake at a New York City club. His former manager sued him for assault and battery in 2016, and a year later, his girlfriend, Karrueche Tran, got a 5-year restraining order against him for alleged threats. Now, I don't understand how anybody is surprised by any of the stuff that Chris Brown is being accused of. Like, he's damn near 40. and still out here beating up on people, having fights or whatever. And the irritation for me is that these people go around making excuses. Oh, but he's changed, or he's grown, or he's done it. I'm like, but why we keep hearing stories every couple of years of him getting into physical altercations with people, and then he's in and out of jail? It's like, why can't you just keep on the right track? Yeah, we understand you were young when you had the situation with Rihanna, and whatever y'all beliefs of, or she may have started, or she was running with her mouth, or y'all know how West Indian women are, blah, blah, like, that's neither here nor there. That is not the point. The point is the fact that Chris Brown continues to do the same thing over and over and over and over and over again, and then it's the same, it's the ongoing cycle. And it just seems like y'all continuously make so many excuses for him with his behavior. So I will definitely be keeping abreast of this story as it develops. And to me, I'm not surprised by anything that Chris Brown does. Like, it just seems like to me he just continues to um continue to do the same BS. And then I'm just over it. It's like we just continue to have this conversation. He continues to do the same thing. He's never going to change. He's not going to be satisfied until he ends up in jail or 6 feet under, the way he be out here running around these streets like a wannabe damn goon. So y'all can let me know what y'all think of this Chris Brown story. Are y'all surprised that, as I always say, a leopard never changes its spots? Like, y'all really expecting Chris Brown to just change and grow up and actually mature and be a different person? Chris Brown still just being Chris Brown. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Adrian says, I can't imagine voting for a racist person / party as a black person. Yeah, I don't get the whole pick me attitude that a lot of people of color have been doing. It's just, I don't think he has ever changed since. He hasn't. And to me, it's just like, yeah, y'all can say, you know, I can understand it was like your career was at this peak. And then you have the situation where, you know, everybody learns, they grow, they evolve, and I always try to give people the benefit of the doubt, but fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice or 8 million times, shame on me, because me constantly trying to forgive you and giving you chance of the chance of the chance. I don't understand why people continue to excuse Chris Brown's behavior. What is so special about him that y'all just look the other way on his behavior? Y'all find a man out here fighting other people and throwing chairs and oh, because somebody said something about you or looked at you funny. Like, you too old for that. What is that, exciting? He ain't put out no damn good music in years. Like, especially when it comes to the stuff like when y'all be trying to compare him to Usher. His music is not on the level of Usher. Yeah, he's been in the game for a long time, but Chris Brown has yet to release a record on the level of a Confessions, a My Way, or 8701. So, and you wonder why people treat him the way they treat him in the business, that he's been blackballed from a lot of places because he's a troublemaker. They don't want that kind of stench on them, but he wants to play the victim. Well, you're going to have to figure all this out in court. So I haven't listened to his music in years. Well, yeah, I don't really listen to him either. And it's like, it takes a lot for me to have to sit and listen to someone who puts 40 damn tracks on one album. Like, who got time? I said that altercation between him and Usher. Like, again, I forgot about that was that too. The alleged fight that broke out between them. That was at a club. I think Tiana Taylor was involved in that. So, you know, Chris Brown's a piece of shit. I've always said he's a piece of shit. I don't care how much fucking money he has. Now, speaking of pieces of shit, let's get into this one. So, you know, we mentioned on the show a couple of weeks ago that there was a NSYNC reunion allegedly in the works. And people were trying to figure out, okay, so, you know, once Justin Timberlake is done with his current tour for that flop album, that they would be in negotiations for a possible 25th anniversary reunion tour of NSYNC, which got a lot of people excited. A word on the curb is there's a lot of people that are interested in putting their money behind this show, and they really feel like they could make a huge financial killing with it. But the word on the street apparently is that Justin is not interested, which of course has gotten a lot of people pissed off. And if I was a member of NSYNC, I'd be pissed too. Because, well, I'll get into why in a second. But let's first get through the story. So shout out to the, the Daily Mail, because they had this. They said Justin Timberlake seems to be saying bye, bye, bye to NSYNC reunion tour talks because he's the odd man out in terms of who's willing to talk about it. Saying NSYNC founder Chris Kirkpatrick was directly confronted Monday about whether or not his 8-time Grammy-nominated boy band will be staging a stadium summer tour next year in honor of their 25th anniversary. Saying, "I'll tell you what, we're all in New York right now because we're putting." No, I'm kidding. The 52-year-old countertenor singer joked to New York Living. "We were all talking again, as you've seen some of the stuff we've been doing lately. We have 2 new songs, which is a lot different than the past 20 or so years that we haven't been together. So there's a lot. There's a lot we're talking about. Nothing in stone yet. When we know, you know." Chris also added, he said, "I am down. Yeah, I'm going to Pop 2000 tour right now, which is basically me by myself with those guys. So I miss them. We're all buds. We're all good friends." Well, I don't think they asked you all of that, but it seemed like you were overcompensating. So he said, Kirkpatrick wasn't kidding about the Big Apple, as Lance Bass shared a snap of himself at ZZ's Club's New York on Monday night after TMZ reported he was the one who coordinated a meeting Monday to discuss the future of the band. Well, one of the things I didn't know is that Chris Kirkpatrick was the one that founded NSYNC and put everybody together. And the cast of NSYNC were at it says Joey Fatone and JC Chasez. Besides Madonna, they were the 2 members that were at the Deadpool and Wolverine premiere in New York City, where they had it at Lincoln Center. Because I was like, where did they have it? And I saw the wall. I was like, where do I know that wall? And I couldn't remember. I lived in that area, or used to live in that area. So yeah, they had it at Lincoln Center, which I would think was a perfect spot to do the movie premiere. And that was the awesome thing about that. And because I remember when they had the first Deadpool, or maybe it was because it wasn't that big of a movie then, but when they did the first Deadpool, they had it at they had it at my old job at the AMC Empire 25. I remember they had that screening, and I remember that Ryan Reynolds and his wife and all of them were there. So I do remember going, being a part of that whole, premiere party. So they said that the outlet also claimed that Justin and his team have yet to address respective proposals from 4 months ago about the potential tour, and the other boy banders are disappointed with his radio silence. The troubled 43-year-old pop star is reportedly solely focused on his Forget Tomorrow World Tour, which he next brings to Poland's Tauron Arena this Friday. So I guess what it is now, he's I guess done with the US leg of his tour. Now he's doing the international leg of the tour. And once the tour is over, I feel like, which I don't even know when is the tour over, nor do I care, but I'm gonna just go on a limb and say maybe in the fall it'll be done. And then around that time, they could start negotiating putting this tour together. If not, then Justin, you ain't shit. But let me continue. So it said Friday also happens to be the same day as Justin's next court hearing. For one charge of driving while intoxicated and infractions for running a stop sign and failure to keep in his lane, stemming from his June 18 DWI arrest in Sag Harbor. Timberlake's lawyer, Edward Burke Jr., told TMZ on June 19th, "We look forward to vigorously defending Mr. Timberlake against these allegations. He's got a lot to say, blah, 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 so on and so forth." So Chris, JC, Joey, and Lance have every right to be salty about the selfish singer's reluctance, considering that they helped promote his 2023 movie Trolls Band Together with their new single Better Place, and they also appear on his album doing a song together. So the thing that irritates me about this whole thing with Justin and everything is the fact that, to me, it seems like Justin only trots out and uses NSYNC when it's convenient for him. But when it comes around, seems like his MO and everything, but when it comes around to returning the favor, it's radio silence. And I'm glad I wasn't the only one that noticed that. It's like, oh yeah, here he go, because the bad reputation he has, what he did to Britney, what he did to Janet, all the other stuff that he's done over the years, that every time he decides to trot out NSYNC, then it's all of a sudden it's like, yay, like, don't pay attention to the shit that's going over here in my crappy new songs that y'all not featuring, but let me bring out NSYNC. There's a possibility we're going to do a tour and all this other stuff, and then nothing. So, he was at the top of his career. I don't feel like he's at the top of his career right now. He is struggling. Yeah, the tour is doing what it's doing, and there's been word that his tour has been struggling. And that what is it? Yeah, that his tour has been that there's been that he's really been selling as many tickets as he's they've been saying he has. I believe at one point the seats were like what, $10 or less. And the one thing is that from what I'm hearing or what I'm seeing, NSYNC has sold over 70 million records, and they still get 8.9 million monthly listeners on Spotify. So while NSYNC has not put out music in decades, there's still a hunger for to see them live, especially with a lot of the younger people, like my generation, have never witnessed NSYNC live in concert. We've never seen NSYNC perform. So, and I feel like, it is true what they say when it comes to um millennials, later millennials, and um what is it, Gen X. I feel like a lot of us, once you start to hit your 40s, you start to feel a little nostalgic because you're kind of like, it's not midlife, but it's midlife, but not midlife, if that makes sense. Like, I don't think you really hit midlife until you're in your 50s. But you're starting to realize that, I'm, in the words of Britney Spears, I'm not a girl, not yet a woman, but you're older, but not yet that young. So I feel like that's what we are at this point. And thinking about that, I feel like we're just in this whole nostalgia situation. So we're not at a place where we're at a place where we want to kind of see and sing and all that perform. So Justin pulling his little stunts or whatever, I really feel like he needs to get it together. Stop, stop stuttering. Number one, stop BSing, and stop playing with the heartstrings of your fan base. And I don't know if this is it. Well, I guess I'll ask you guys. Do you actually think that him getting back with NSYNC, doing a reunion of sorts, will have people forgetting about the self-centered attitude, the selfish things that he's done in the past and the recent DUI? Like, do you really feel like that if that happens, then all will be forgiven? Because to me, hearing this stuff that he's kind of just been playing coy or hasn't really been returning messages or whatever the case, where that he's been solely focused on the tour, which I will give him that. It's like, you know what? One thing at a time. Like, I'm focused on the tour. I'm doing a whole lot of other things. Like, there's a lot of moving parts that comes with touring and that sort of thing. But if it comes to a point where he's just, so I'll give him that. But if you decide, like, oh yeah, I don't want to do it because, ego, or you feel like that, you know what, NSYNC gave me what it gave me at the time, so I don't want to go backwards. I want to look forwards. NSYNC was the great launching pad, but I'm a solo star, so I don't need y'all. Sir, even though you are a legacy act, you are no Beyonce. So um, I really hope that he considers. And Justin, don't let this get to a point where people are just going to be pissed off at you in regards of you not want to do this tour because of ego or whatever the case is. But I ask you guys, what do you think of this story? Do you think that Justin Timberlake is actually holding out maybe from either more money or the fact that it could be an ego thing that he's not interested in coming back? But I was also thinking this too. It was like, okay, so he's not, I guess some people could compare it to like Posh Spice and the Spice Girls, but Posh Spice was not the strong, the girl that was out there in the front. She's not the one who is the most talented vocally or whatever. She was a pretty face and she gave cute outfits, but she wasn't like the personality and the singer. Justin Timberlake was in the forefront alongside JC Chasez. And I don't know if NSYNC, if they decided they want to do the tour, I don't know if they could pull in the same amount of investors that they would with a Justin Timberlake. So yeah, while NSYNC is one of the biggest boy band groups or boy banders, and they've sold a lot of records and they're popular on Spotify and all those things, it's like I don't know if the other four can go out and do a tour. Even though I do believe, in my opinion, JC Chasez is the better singer. I've always thought he was a better singer, but it seemed like to me he was never the one that wanted to be out there with the personality and showcasing himself and that sort of thing. So I don't know if necessarily he wanted to get out there and be that. But and also it's just like with them four, I don't think they could pull off the same thing NSYNC would if they like Escape. Remember like Latasha Scott act like she was too damn good for Escape, and The other girls showed her. They was able to go out and still tour. I believe tomorrow I'm doing their Queens of R&B tour, but it's them and SWV. So I don't think that they're gonna be able to pull the same thing as Escape, because the thing I think is the difference between Escape and NSYNC. NSYNC wasn't out here doing a lot of reality shows. Yeah, Chris Kirkpatrick did Celebrity Big Brother, where you know the shit with him and Todrick, but um Escape actually kept themselves in the limelight in other ways. You know, you had Tiny doing the reality show with her and T.I. and the kids, and then I almost said Kenya, child. Candy was doing the Real Housewives of Atlanta for like 14 years, for almost 2 decades. So they kept themselves in the spotlight. So while the people who knew Escape, and then they did the Queens of R&B show, whatever. Remember, they did that show and the drama that's inspired with that. So I think reality TV helped keep them in the spotlight and had a lot of those fans coming where they could still sell out arenas. I don't know if NSYNC could do that without Justin Timberlake. And if they can, then you know what? Combine it with other band members or other boy bands like a Backstreet Boys or whoever else. I don't know. They'll have to come up with something if they can't get Justin Timberlake on board. But whatever y'all think of this tea, let me know in the comments down below. Okay, so they said there was oh, was it? So look, he out here fighting with every damn body. They said, what if they recruit someone famous to take the spot like Queen did? I was thinking that. Not pretend JT is dead. I was thinking that too earlier on when I was putting the story together. I'm like, so should they actually do a replacement and bring another singer in? I mean, we've seen people do that before. If you can't get Justin Timberlake on board, then who would y'all put in that replacement? I don't know if that would go over well. Like it actually worked when Latasha wasn't part of Escape, I guess because people saw the reality show and there was a backstory as to why Latasha was no longer a part of Escape, because she was showing her entire ass. She acted like she was too good for the group, her ego, and all that other stuff. So that worked for Escape. They were able to turn lemons into lemonade. The reality show helped them. We're trying to market that in a way where it's like, y'all don't need her. So you have the other people picking up the slack of her vocals. NSYNC is a different story because we really haven't seen them out and about. We see them pop up every now and again at a premiere, at MTV VMAs, at or whenever Justin wanted to bring them out as a prop, not pay Britney to do it. So it would be cute if they could possibly do a thing with Adam, like a Adam Lambert type thing, but I don't know if that would work. I was like, could they do like a Jesse McCartney or something on other? I don't know. I said Justin was the group. Said JC was the better singer, but Justin was seen more. Yeah, Justin was somebody who, in my opinion, had the pizzazz, the charisma, the personality, and that sort of thing. Because like when I went in that deep dive and saw that YouTube video, he wanted to be the comedian, and um he was able to, like, I think that his personality kind of sold the group more. He was the more visually appealing, I guess, because he had the blonde hair that he dyed. He had like that boyish good looks, and Hollywood loves propping up these barely legal types to kind of sell the sex and all that other stuff. So Justin had the package, but to me, JC was the better singer. Okay, so let's move on and let's talk about Miss Jennifer Lopez and this latest story about her and Ben Affleck. Because there's word on the street that the couple have been secretly writing love letters to each other to save their marriage. Now, I will say this: if this is true, based off the Daily Mail story, I really hope that she's not going to use this as inspiration for the follow-up. But this is me now, because we already saw what happened with that when you basically was using the love letters that Ben was sending you as the blueprint to come out with that record that nobody listened to or nobody cared about, nobody asked for, depending on who you ask. So Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck are drawing on the early days of their romance in a desperate bid to get their marriage back on track, with the estranged pair writing love letters to one another in an attempt to rekindle their strained relationship. Now, Lopez, 54, and Affleck, 51, who reunited in 2021 after first splitting in 2004, that was a lot of numbers, by the way, have been living separately, been pictured on occasion without their wedding rings, and have not been seen together since June as they contend with the persistent reports that the two-year marriage is on crisis and spiraling towards divorce. But despite being ready to throw in the towel a few months back, Lopez and Affleck are no longer on the verge of a split as they're working to save their union by keeping their love life out of the spotlight, which I think is what Ben wanted. They said Ben and Jen agreed it is best to take some time apart so they can really figure out what it is that they want. This is what an insider told DailyMail.com. They were ready to throw in the towel. Divorce papers are done and ready to be filed, but they wanted to give it one last go before walking away from this and are going back to the beginning by writing each other letters. This is what made them fall in love in the first place. Now, Lopez shared an abundance of love notes from Affleck in her film The Greatest Love Story Never Told, with the Gone Girl actor revealing he clung onto his correspondence with Lopez during his 13-year marriage to Jennifer Garner, which, if I was Jennifer Garner, I would be pissed all the way off that it's like, we're in a marriage together, and here you go, using, like, you still holding on to old letters from your ex while we're in a current relationship and we got 3 kids together. So it kind of makes me think, did you actually love me, or was I just like the rebound that you just got yourself with because your heart was broken, or you couldn't make it work with Jennifer, who I guess y'all looking at each other as like, y'all, it's kismet, it's the love, she's the love of your life, and vice versa, and y'all can't seem to make it work because of ego. And the fact of the matter is, like I've said a million times talking about Jennifer and Ben, is that Ben does not like the spotlight. Ben does not like his business being out in the street. Ben does not like all the attention. Ben likes being a director. He likes being an actor. He likes being an artist. All the other stuff that comes with it, the pomp and circumstance, the paparazzi, all of that stuff, he don't care about all that. You always see he look grumpy. But Jennifer lives for it. She loves, striking a pose like every way is a runway, and doing the red carpet and giving the whole pizzazz illusion. I'm a diva. I'm the Puerto Rican Elizabeth Taylor. So she's living for it. He doesn't like it. He'll show up and have to do the job that he needs to. It's like, I'm gonna come on the red carpet. I'm gonna take the pictures. I'm gonna support my wife. But all the extra stuff that comes with it is like, I don't like it. But they say now her latest love letters to Affleck will not be made public. This time, JLo will definitely not be showing anyone these letters, and they are just to stay between her and Ben. If they decide that they want to stay together, she will be keeping her love life to herself. Right now, it is looking promising. Now, Affleck disclosed in the documentary that when they decided to rekindle their relationship, he initially requested they keep it private. He said, getting back together, I said, listen, one of the things I don't want is a relationship on social media. Then I sort of realized it's not a fair thing to ask. It's sort of like you're going to marry a boat captain and go, well, I don't like the water. Okay, that's a good analogy. He added, we're just two people with two different kinds of approaches trying to learn to compromise. Now, Lopez also recognized her husband's unease about being in the public eye as a couple, especially given the intense media scrutiny they faced the first time around. I don't think Ben is very comfortable with me doing all of this. That's what she said. But he loves me. He knows I'm an artist. He's going to support me in every way he can because he knows you can't stop me from making the music I made. He doesn't want to stop me, but that doesn't mean he's comfortable being the muse. Well, you didn't have to. Here's the thing: you didn't have to tell us that he was the muse. And it's like, look, there's many artists out here who use their relationships as their muses. Taylor Swift has made billions of dollars doing it. But I think with these two, they just had to figure out how to meet in the middle and how to compromise in that sort of way. It's like you could be an artist and you can find a way to use your relationship as, you know, inspiration. I mean, Beyonce does it, but you don't never hear nothing about Beyonce and Jay-Z's relationship because they know how to keep it under wraps. They know how to keep it quiet. They know how to be private. And so I just feel like between these two, they just need to figure out how to find that balance and how to make it work. And I will say this. I am glad that they are, even though, we say all the things we say about Jennifer, but I'm glad that, you know what, even though they already got the paperwork, there's, according to the report, saying that they got the divorce papers and everything ready, At any point, it's like, okay, we can't, but they're giving it a final go before they're like, okay, so let's see if we can try to make this work one more time. If we can't get beyond this hump, then we'll just go our separate ways and it is what it is. But, and I feel like that's what, grown people in their 50s would do, or older people, more mature people would do. And it's good to hear that Jennifer is, mature enough to meet halfway with this whole situation. Because at first I thought it was just like Ben was just not willing to bend, that he was real stubborn, that he would just, had his head so far up his own ass that he wasn't willing to compromise for nothing. And here we are. He's actually, doing it. That he's willing to actually meet her halfway. She's meeting him halfway and then trying to make it work. So good luck to y'all. And I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this whole thing? Are y'all happy to hear that they're trying to make it work and that Hannaford is actually willing to bend the knee and compromise at times with the marriage and try to, put in the work? Because it always seemed like that whenever it came to her marriage, is like, did she actually put in the amount of work, and vice versa when it came to her relationships in the past and them going their separate ways? Because here's the thing, I'm sure it's a lot of money, just as much money, if not more, to get divorced than it is to get married. So I'm glad that they're trying to work it out. But if they don't, no skin on my nose, and it is what it is. So let me know what y'all think of this story in the comments down below. Okay, so it said Ben's producing with Matt Damon. Yeah, and I think they're doing 2 projects together. So I feel like that maybe it's smart to come to some sort of compromise, um, and figure that whole situation out. So that way, because it's like, yeah, once y'all get a divorce, how y'all gonna, like, how is it gonna work that y'all working together? Because that would be weird. Is that if I'm doing a movie with someone that I still like, she said that was the man that broke her heart in the past, and she was willing to give this relationship another shot after he love bombed her and sent all these letters and was constantly going and trying to get her back with him, and she was willing to come over to the other side. But you know what, let me give the relationship another shot, only for this to happen again. And it's like the trauma of the past relationship is coming back to haunt me the second time. It's just like, I would be freaked out over it. So I'm glad that they're actually making it work. And then, yeah, it would be awkward for me if it's like, damn, I'm in a relationship with someone that's in Hollywood, and Hollywood is this big. So then we're going to run into each other, and then we got to work on projects together, even though we're no longer together. Yeah, I did see that she was hanging out with Serafina. I think that was who she was hanging out with. Or was it Violet? Violet. It was Violet, the woman always with a mask. Okay, so we are halfway through the topics. I think we have about 8 more topics left, and then we're done. But before we get started with the aforementioned or the upcoming topics, please hit that like button, that subscribe button, and the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Without further ado, let's get into this Real Housewives news. We have 3 Real Housewives stories. Now, one of them is about Real Housewives of New Jersey. They're about to wrap up their season as of August. They did a reunion of sorts, but the reunion, I should say, wasn't really a reunion. It was a watch party that happened at a steakhouse, and they had them in 2 separate rooms with Dolores Catania going back and forth between the rooms because she plays Switzerland on the show. She is so much Switzerland. She need to move her ass to Switzerland. I don't know. I don't trust people like that. No shame, but I don't. So they said on July 17th, the network shared that the typical reunion format will be replaced with a Real Housewives of New Jersey finale watch party. So this week, well, it was actually last week, Monday, July 15th to be exact, the irreparably divided cast of the Real Housewives of New Jersey convened to Rail Steakhouse in Towego, New Jersey to film a very different kind of reunion for season 14. In fact, it wasn't a reunion at all, but a watch party in which they convened under one roof to watch the finale for what is likely their last gathering together, given their toxic split in the cast. Now, practically from the start of the season in May, Real Housewives executive producer Andy Cohen has made no secret of the fact that the once beloved part of the Bravo franchise will be heading for a reboot after it concludes on Sunday, August 4th. And they said a spokesperson for Bravo declined to comment. Now, I will say shout out to Variety because they're the ones that broke this exclusive story. So they said Monday's caucus was unusual in every way, given that only one previous Housewives season, the disastrous 13th season of the Real Housewives of New York City in 2021, hasn't had a reunion. Nor was Cohen in attendance, even though he hosted every reunion of the show since Bravo began the Powerhouse franchise in 2006 with the Real Housewives of Orange County. So instead, the two groups from the cast viewed the finale in separate rooms. Anyone who has watched the tortured past few seasons, emphasis on the tortured, of the Real Housewives of New Jersey can imagine what the split was. But yes, the groups were divided between sisters-in-law Teresa Giudice and Melissa Gorga. Team Teresa comprised full-time cast member and loyal collaborator Jennifer Aiden, of course, along with Giudice's former enemy turned inexplicable ally, Jackie Goldschneider, in a friend role this season. Cast member Dolores Catania, who has somehow remained as a Switzerland figure against all odds, went between the two rooms. Now, I hope what was happening was both on each and every one of them on both sides. I'm like, what you telling them? What's going on in the other room? Like, I hope y'all not doing that. Just watch the episode and react to the scenes because I guess that's what they're going to do. And I'll save my opinion for after I finish the article. So they say in the second room was Gorga, as in Melissa, Margaret Josephs, Rachel Fuda, Danielle Cabral, and friend Jen Fessler. It's weird. It's like, damn, but Melissa Gorga had more people in her room than Teresa did. Kind of tells you something. They said, except for Fessler, these women are sworn enemies of Giudice's and she sure doesn't like them either. Joseph has levied accusations against Giudice's husband, Louis Ruelas, alleging that at a season 13 reunion, he had called her adult son at work and threatened him. Ruelas denied the accusation. I don't believe him. As for Fuda, she and Giudice have been fighting all season ever since Giudice told the castmates and the world in a May 15th season premiere that Fuda's husband, John, was the biggest drug dealer in Bergen County. As a young man, basically, what they're saying is John Fuda responded on Instagram the night of the episode, saying basically in tongue-in-cheek form, he said that he's worked tirelessly to overcome challenges and refuses to be defined by past mistakes. With Cabral, her beef, at least so far this season, is not with Giudice, but with Aiden. The two had a physical altercation. Oh, yeah, that was true. That Danielle Cabral had a beef with Jen Aiden, and basically smacked her upside the head with a glass. After she pushed her, she hit her back. And they get to keep a job, but Kenya Moore gets off TV for showing allegedly our revenge pee, which is weird. So they said the watch party will air as a special on August 11th, the Sunday following the season finale. Whether it's one or more episode has not been decided because whenever they do the reunions, it's usually a three-parter. Sometimes I don't know why they do three-parters of the Real Housewives reunion. I don't feel like all of them need one, but if it's warranted and you can get enough out of them to do a three-part, if it's that juicy, then I would say do it. I'm surprised Gia wasn't there because Gia, every now and again they like to assert her into the conversation or having her be, shoot scenes with her mother because Teresa doesn't have a lot of allies on the season. Now they're saying that what happens in the future of the Real Housewives of New Jersey is anyone's guess. Whether the show is in for a full-scale reboot, as happened with the Real Housewives of New York City after unlucky season 13, or rebuilding around a few current cast members, as recently befallen the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Cohen has said repeatedly that Bravo and the show's producers won't begin to strategize until the current season ends. Well, that may be true in many situations. Excuse me. But Variety, I don't know if y'all was paying attention, but Andy Cohen did come out on his radio. I think it was Radio Andy, I think is what it was. I wanted on his podcast last week and basically answered the fans' cries and was like that there are going to be some changes coming to the Real Housewives of New Jersey going forward. It's like they tried to make it where, okay, we'll keep everybody and we'll split this one's over here, this one's over here. We're going to have everybody filming separate scenes together, but we all going to have to come into the room collectively, I guess, for the finale. And that's the way they're going to do it. And now with the reunion happening, they're going to have them, or reunion as we can call it, the watch party. They're going to sit back, watch the finale, and they're going to, I guess, give their opinion on what happened throughout the season. So, we don't need to go into the whole details of like what had happened with the whole situation, but to me, it's over the years, it's just so sad that you have siblings that despise each other, and it's all playing out in real-ish time on TV, as real as it is, because in real time, meaning that when they filmed it. So it's just sad that you have like Teresa on one side, and then you have her brother Joe and his wife and their friends on the other side. And I like the dynamic of like, okay, yeah, this is drama, whatever. But the one of the things I love about the Real Housewives of New Jersey is the guy, friendships that they have on there. What Joe and all the other guys that hang out. You got Dolores' ex-husband, and you got Margaret's husband, and all these other people. Like they're all hanging out together, drinking, having a good time. There's like a bunch of guys having fun. So they have their own little thing going over there. It doesn't work on other shows, but for some reason, I guess because the Real Housewives of New Jersey has always been rooted in family, that it kind of works with that. Where it's just like all the guys, everybody knows each other, so it's like the guys go off and do their thing, and it's just as much fun with them drinking and smacking each other in the butt, doing frat boy shit, and the women just being catty and messy, and just delivering the one-liners or whatever the case is. But my thing is this: if you're going to do a show like The Real Housewives of New Jersey, the whole point of doing these shows is that you're supposed to get together at the reunion and hash things out. And if y'all can't get into a room together and hash things out like grown ass adults, then I do feel like there needs to be a shakeup. I think some people need to go. I don't know if we necessarily need to fire Teresa and Melissa as of yet, but I do feel like if y'all can't come to some sort of compromise, y'all need to be demoted and build the show around Rachel Fuda and Danielle Cabral and a lot of their friends. Because for some reason, it's like, even when we have Teresa and all of them in there, with Rachel and Danielle and Jen Fessler, they all kind of work, even though I will say Danielle and Rachel are younger than Jen Fessler. No shade, just saying. I do feel like with them being there, it makes it work. You can bring in they're young enough, but also old enough and mature enough that they can hang with the older women on the show, like Teresa and Margaret and that sort of thing. So, like I said, if y'all can't figure out what y'all gonna be doing over there, I feel like that, with the tension being so bad and y'all can't be in the same damn room, I feel like it's time to shake up the cast. That you may have to demote some of the people on there like Teresa and Melissa. Stop acting like Teresa is the queen bee of RHONJ. I mean, maybe back in the day she was, when she was more prominent to the show, meaning that, when she went to jail for the thing with her ex-husband, and y'all paused the show so that way y'all can capture when she gets out of jail. That was good TV, even though it was her real life and reality TV was supposed to capture the moments. That was what made good TV. But at this point, what is Teresa bringing to the table that she brought back in the day doing the show? So I feel like a lot of people on the show y'all gotten a little too comfortable, you got a little too relaxed, too complicit, and you're not willing to come to work and clock in and do the job. And if you're not willing to do the job that you're getting paid to do, then you need to go. It's time to bring in some fresh meat. So I also have to say, what do you think of this whole thing? Do you like this whole idea of them doing a watch party instead of a reunion? And I'm curious to see like how they're going to make this work, because a watch party, like, we know what watch parties are. It just sounds really weird, but we'll see if they make it work. And so, yeah. So I say basically, let me know what y'all think of this story in the comments down below. Okay, so now let's go from New Jersey and take our butts over to Beverly Hills, and let's talk about Miss Kathy Hilton, who was spilling tea about Kyle Richards. So Kathy is revealing how Sister Kyle Richards is handling her estranged husband, Mauricio Umansky, or is it Umansky? We'll go with Umansky. Well, how Mauricio is basically handling being single. They're not divorced, they're separated, like Hennifer and Ben. But he out here laying low and spreading it wild with a lot of young women. And I'm like, well, damn, could you at least wait to get a divorce first before y'all jump on that? So Kathy Hilton says she had to calm her half-sister Kyle Richards down after Mauricio Umansky was photographed kissing another woman. Say, I think it was a hard pill to swallow seeing it. This is what the socialite told Page Six exclusively Monday at Sutton Strack's Sutton Green Label Fashion Show in Los Angeles. So what I'm trying to do is kind of calm her down a little bit. You know this was bound to happen. You've been separated. Now Hilton, who's 65, told Page Six, or yeah, that she reminded Richards, 55, that the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills OG frequently said Umansky, 54, could do whatever he wants to do while she lived her own life during their separation. However, Hilton noted that the real estate mogul's new love interest, who was later identified as model and actress Nikita Khan, ran up and kissed him at the Mykonos airport last week, which means they've been seeing each other for a while. The Mama Four said that she knew that they were eventually going to see something, but admitted it still hurts to witness. The images showed Khan, 33, running up to and embracing Umansky as he opens his arms to greet her with a smooch. And I do believe I have that photo. Please hold. And there it is. So the viral photos appear to upset Richards as she removed wife from her Instagram bio upon seeing them. Her page now reads mom, actor, author, producer, animal lover, a RHOBH CAA. So Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and CAA's creative arts agency. The Halloween actress also dropped Umansky from her Instagram in early May, almost 1 year after they announced their split after 27 years of marriage. While the buying Beverly Hills star has been seen parting with different women over the past year, Richards has been growing close to country music singer Morgan Wade. The pair have sparked intense romance rumors, but the reality star has always denied them, insisting that they're just friends. Well, look, Kyle has never really given us a reason as to why she and Mauricio have called it quits or separated and those other stuff. But I truly believe the rumors that have always been floating around about Mauricio. I truly believe that Mauricio, once he cut ties of the Hiltons and started to build his own agency and become this big real estate mogul or whatever, that I feel like he and Kyle started to grow apart. And he's become a rock star of sorts, especially with the reality TV, the Beverly Hills Housewives, and now he has his own reality show. I don't know necessarily what the numbers are over there at Buying Beverly Hills, or if a lot of people watch Buying Beverly Hills the way they watch the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, because to be honest, I've never really watched his reality show. So I don't necessarily know what it entails. I thought about getting over there and watching it the second season because I was curious to see um how with in regards of his side of explaining I was trying to find the words, his side of explaining the relationship between him and Kyle and the whole separation, because they played all of that up in the trailer. However, when it came around to watching it, I just didn't care enough. So if y'all know the tea, definitely let me know in the comments on did he spill enough tea in regards to the whole, did he spill more tea than what Kyle did during her season of Beverly Hills Housewives? And to me, it's just like, there was always tea going around about Mauricio not being faithful to Kyle throughout their marriage. And I feel like she got to a point where she's like, you know what, I'm going to stop drinking. I've got a lot of clarity. I'm surrounding myself with good people who have my best interests at heart. She's developed this friendship, as she calls it, with Morgan Wade. So this might be her first same-sex relationship that she's been in, because I don't know, for those of you who may not know, Morgan is a woman. So, an openly gay country singer. So she's been hanging out with her a lot, and they've developed sort of friendship. Maybe we'll see this play out on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, which I believe the new season is currently filming, because like they say, Kathy was at Sutton's fashion show. So I'm sure they're filming all of this for the show. And I'm sure that, unfortunately, the sad part, and I don't want to salivate over somebody's marriage, but if you're in a reality show, if you are a public figure, we have to see all this play out. So I'm sure Kyle's reaction may end up. Well, I can't say I'm sure. I'll say I'm hoping her reaction will play out on the upcoming season of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and see where she goes with her relationship. Because yeah, he's now no longer living in the house. I believe he found his own apartment in Century City, which I used to work in when I lived in Cali. So I feel like, yeah, Kyle got tired of the BS, and for Kathy, I'm like, damn, you really know how to rip the band-aid off the wound. Like, she's like, yeah. It's like, I told her, like, this was something you was going to have to deal with. This is what's going to happen. I was like, yeah, that's true. But you don't want to actually witness something like that happening or happen to feel that emotion or see that. It's like, you don't want to deal with, like, oh, well, yeah, the man that I'm still married to done moved on to some new coochie and we're not even divorced. So I say at this point, sis, you better draw up them divorce papers because it's about to go down. Unless there's no prenup and it's about to get messy between the both of y'all, depending on who actually is the bigger breadwinner. Because whoever the bigger breadwinner is, they may have to pay half their stuff to him, according to California law. So I say all this say, what do y'all think of this story? If y'all have anything to say on the whole Real Housewives of the Beverly Hills tea, let me know in the comments down below. Now, our final topic in regards of the Housewives, let's talk about Kim Zolciak, who I believe her episode of The Surreal Life, or her season on The Surreal Life, kicks off tonight on VH1, if I'm not mistaken, because I did hear something on other that I think it comes on Tuesday. But, there's rumors floating around that, while she is doing that show, that she is considering, getting her peach back for, the Real Housewives of Atlanta. She wants to come back to the show, allegedly. So they said nearly 12 years after the reality star abruptly left the Real Housewives of Atlanta in the middle of season 5, Kim revealed the 2 reasons she's finally considering a potential return to the Bravo reality series. She also threw shade at Kenya, but we're going to get to that in a second. She said, I know Portia Williams is back, and I love to pieces, and I absolutely adore her. This is what a Surreal Life Villa of Secret star exclusively told E! News. She's hysterical, happy for her, and love that she's back. Plus reports that another beloved ROA alum might be back for season 16 have further piqued, Kim's, because they spelled peaked wrong, have further piqued Kim's interest in rejoining the friend group. I heard rumors Phaedra might return, she added, which I would be totally game for too, because she's amazing. In fact, the recently refreshed cast has made Kim change her mind, saying, I've been saying I would never return, but as I'm talking right now, I might think about it because they're 2 very funny and lighthearted, fun people. This is what the 46-year-old admitted. Portia and Phaedra might do it for me. We'll see. However, Kim isn't totally ready for the drama that comes with being on the Housewives. She said, I'd have to seriously consider it. One thing that I just don't do well and have done is the negativity and the drama. I'm a pretty positive person. I love to laugh. I love to help people. You're a pretty positive person. Okay, girl. We'll go along with that lie. It's that I love to laugh. I love to help people, and Housewives at times is extremely trying and very disappointing. I do have like PTSD from a lot of my experiences on the show too that I'm working through. But one change that doesn't surprise Kim, Kenya Moore recently exited the series after a season 16 controversy. And y'all already know what the controversy is. We don't need to go through it. She said, I was updated by another housewife on what Kenya did. She said, I've always said that her character is heavily flawed. She's where she needs to be at this point. So, yeah, so she's basically saying that, you know what, Kenya brought this upon herself, that it's her fault that she's gotten herself in this situation. So, do I want to see Miss Kim come back to the show for future seasons? While it would be entertaining, no, I don't. Because I feel like the problem that we all have with Kim is that she never fully committed to doing anything on the show. It's like once she got with Croy, she never wanted to do the trips. Every time they had things, it was always an excuse. She didn't really want to participate because she was so happy. She was so in love. She would just up Croy big old ass, and that is a big ass. So the way she was acting like a child. She didn't want to participate, and then she quit the show. So it's like, would y'all be would producers and would Bravo people be willing to take that risk with her, knowing full and well how she's so indecisive in regards of, excuse me, participating with a lot of things going on the show? Now, I will say this. I am curious to see what she's planning on bringing to the Surreal Life, like where she's going to fit in. I heard that she was being very flirtatious with Chet Hanks. And with all the Jamaican patois, the faking, I should say, patois that he was doing, Cheddar's a cutie. He can get it. He had a little swag to him, even though it feels a little forced. But yeah, it was like the tattoos, the cab. Like, he's definitely a sexy young man. Why am I saying young man like I'm old? but but yeah, I'm curious to watch it because it's like you got Kim on the show, you got Chet Hanks, you got Macy Gray, who I believe has a song with Big Frida that I heard not too long ago. I think it was last month during Pride. And then you have damn, what the hell's her the other one's name? We got Tyler Posey's on it. So there's a couple of people. I think is it Better World Peace on it? I could be wrong with him. I don't know if I have the list of celebrities that's fully on the show in front of me, but it does seem like a really interesting cast. And you know what? Sometimes the has-beens be way more entertaining than the A-listers. At least on camera. So I'm definitely curious to see this. But as far as like Real Housewives coming back to that, no. Portia, like I said, cannot carry this show on her own. I am more or less for Phaedra coming back than anything. So um if she does come back to the Real Housewives, I feel like it would be because she needs the money. Because we already said allegedly she has a gambling addiction, all the other stuff. So she could use the PTSD. I'm sure maybe she does have PTSD, but I don't know if there's necessarily the only trauma and issue that she has is from the show. Especially when you know the Housewives is all about drama. So unless you got another big papa hidden somewhere while still married to Croy, I don't know how else she is going to pay them for the alleged gambling addiction, the bills on that foreclosed home, and all the amenities needed for those litter of children that she is still raising. So we'll see what happens in regards of the whole thing. Now, the question I asked y'all is this: would y'all like to see Kim Zolciak come back to the Real Housewives of Atlanta, or do she need to stay over there and try to come up with other shows to be on? You know what I would actually like to see Kim on? They need to get Kim on The Traitors. Get her on The Traitors season 3. We actually have a story coming up about Trixie Mattel and why she turned down The Traitors. Oh wait, she can't do Traitors season 3 because they already got the cast. And I don't know if they filmed it or they're filming it or if it's done. I don't know for sure. But maybe season 4. So I like to see Kim because they pull a lot of the Bravo girls and stuff over there. So maybe it'd be good for her to do The Traitors, whatever. But could she go over the island and be gone for a long period of time without the kids? But I guess if you're the breadwinner, somebody got to make the sacrifice. But anyway, let me know what y'all guys think of this story in the comments down below. Okay, so now let's get into our next topic. Well, I saw we have comments, but I'll have to hold on because we already started this one. We'll get to the right after the Kim Cattrall thing. But anyway, let's move on. And let's get to this story. Now, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, that not even a couple of weeks, I think it was last week, that there was a story that came out from Elle Magazine that said, and I thought it was because if it's Elle Magazine, it's pretty legit because Elle Magazine is a fashion magazine. And, Sex and the City has been known for its fashion risks and all that other stuff. People got into the show not only because of New York City and the whole aesthetic, but because of how unapologetic the women, some of them were, in regards to talking about sex and sexuality. And then, of course, we had the fashions from Patricia Field, who styled all the ladies on the show. And even came back last season just to style Kim Cattrall for that one little cameo that she did on season 2 of And Just Like That. So Elle Magazine went and came out and said that Kim Cattrall may be coming back full time and and all this other stuff. But apparently Kim Cattrall got on social media and said, I don't know who told y'all that, but the results came back from Maury and they determined that it is a lie that I am returning back to the show. So, and just like that, Kim Cattrall has set the record straight about an unjust like that return. Now, Kim Cattrall basically politely broke the news that she won't be reprising her iconic Sex and the City character for the upcoming 3rd season of its Max revival, and just like that, despite her drive-by cameo last year in the season 2 finale. After Life and Style reported earlier this month that Cattrall is striking up a deal for season 3, it wasn't only Life and Style. I saw it was. Yeah, well, Life and Style is sort of a tabloid, so I wouldn't necessarily went with that. But it was also, I saw Elle Magazine posted it. So it said, it looks like hashtag Kim Cattrall, aka Samantha Jones, will be back for And Just Like That season 3 after all, read one headline, to which Cattrall responded, "Oh, that's so kind, but I'm not." Cattrall played a sexually empowered publicist, Samantha Jones, for the original HBO show six-season run from 1998 to 2004, as well as the future adaptations that hit theaters in 2008 and 2010. And I remember around the time when I was in college in 2008, they literally shot the wedding sequence of, Carrie in the street with the wedding gown and stuff on literally up the block from my school, where I was going to school for when I was going to film school. It was like right over there by NYU, actually. So it's after opening up about her behind the scenes differences with co-star SJP, Cattrall opted not to reunite with Parker, Cynthia Nixon, and Kristen Davis in And Just Like That, which premiered in 2021. Cattrall still graced fans with a brief Samantha appearance in the season 2 finale last August, after Deadline reported the cameo earlier in May 2023. The scene featured the character in the backseat of a car on a phone call with Carrie Bradshaw, without ever having the two actresses in the same room. Now, the British Canadian actress revealed one of her conditions for returning to the show as she appeared on The View last June, saying it's very interesting to get a call from the head of HBO saying, "What can we do?" And I went, let me get creative. And one of those things was to get costume designer Pat Field back, because I just thought that if I'm going to come back, I got to come back with that Samantha style. I got to push it, and we did. So, Patricia Field is not a costume designer, and she's not working on And Just Like That because she does other shows. And she was working on, at the time, Emily in Paris. I don't know if that show was still on, but that was a show that she was been working on. But SATC proteges Molly Rogers and Danny Santiago have basically filled in for her on the revival. And Just Like That is filming right now, and they're saying that it's set to premiere sometime in 2025. So we're not even going to see it this year because, I guess they're spending the whole summer shooting in New York. And while I do find it it's unfortunate that Kim is not coming back, and I know I saw some of the people when I posted this on my website, well, not only on my website, but on Facebook and a bunch of other places, some people was like, well, I don't understand why she's not coming back, because every other show she's been on has been canceled. Like, why are you not? What is it so much? Like, just compromise, just come on. You are the show, that sort of thing. And there lies the rub, because the problem is what people were saying, the reason why that they have an issue with, well, why she won't come back. I'll say this is because Sarah Jessica Parker got pissed that this was her show. She was an executive producer. This is supposed to be her show where it was all about Carrie. Carrie was the lead. Everybody else was supposed to be, she's supposed to be Gladys Knight. The rest of y'all was supposed to be the Pips. But Samantha Jones's character, being this unapologetic, sex positive businesswoman who lived in New York and was eating these men, chewing them up and spitting them out, the people had a problem. Apparently, she resonated so much with a lot of people. A lot of the women loved her, and the gay men loved her. And according to the insiders and people that know, and the rumors over the years, and little things that Kim has alluded to, that set off SJP. And now another thing with SJP, from what I was hearing, is that she tried to sabotage Kim's negotiations of a higher raise, I believe, when they were doing the movies, which, Kim found out I'm pissed off, and then was talking a lot of crap about Kim to the other co-stars of the show. So this was like her big moment. SJP has been working in Hollywood for a long time. She's done little things here and there, but Sex and the City is the show that really put SJP on the map. But when it's the final, it's like that show, you finally get to have your moment, and then, apparently it's not any fault of Kim Cattrall. Like, Kim Cattrall was sort of that girl back in the day, long before she was on Sex and the City. Like, she had so many movies that she was a part of: Big Trouble in Little China, Mannequin. Like, she did so many movies where Kim Cattrall was that girl in the 80s. And then, of course, when she comes aboard and does Sex and the City, it's like, yeah, you're part of this show that's revolutionary and is different, and has basically got a lot of the Gen X girls all excited, because it's like, oh yeah, I can relate to these girls in some sort of way. This is like talking about women in their 30s who are single, who are trying to navigate the world. Well, I can't say necessarily Gen X, because Gen X weren't in their 30s when that came out. Gen X would have been basically in their late teens, early 20s. when Sex and the City became this big thing, because Sex and the City came out in what, like 90, oh yeah, like the 90s. 98, 99, like around that time. I was trying to scroll up and see what yeah, it was 98. So around that time, if you were born in like the like 77, 78, like between 75 and 78 or whatever, like you're literally like 16 to 20. But the girls in that time were in their 30s. So maybe it's maybe it's the boomers. Maybe the Sex and the City girls are more or less boomers, because they're in their 50s and 60s for the most part. But anyway, I guess it doesn't matter. But I really wish that Kim Cattrall would have came back and did the show. I would have really loved to have seen her be a part of it, because this show was like one of my favorite shows. And like I told you, I've been watching Sex and the City for a long time. I was like, let me pull this picture up. I was like, I love Sex and the City. It's like, it was just a great moment in time. And just like that, I know they're trying to capture the essence of the original Sex and the City, but it's just not working. And to me, it's just like you definitely feel it's the same thing I was talking about with NSYNC. They were a quintet. They're not a quartet. Just like they're a quartet, not a trio. So it doesn't really work. They're trying to make it work and bring all these other people in. But like I said before, I'm giving this show one more season since Kim Cattrall is not coming back. If y'all don't get me, if y'all can't figure out how to structure the show and make it work, then I'm out. Like I never give shows like this a chance. And maybe I'm doing that because Sex and the City, it was like a show that I grew up watching, or because it was just a moment in time. And I want to give the show a chance, especially when you're, like I said, nostalgia. So I started to say, what do y'all think of this? Are y'all disappointed that Kim Cattrall is not coming back to the show that pretty much, I wouldn't say just only put all these other girls, like it pretty much solidified their careers and put them all on the map. And it was like a big moment in time for their careers and all that other stuff. So let me know what y'all think of this story in the comments down below. Okay. Oh, he said she was hanging out with Ben. Oh yeah, so I read that. Kim is a gold digger and she trained her daughter. Oh, we talking about Kim. Oh, Kim Zolciak. Child, don't give me something on that. And she got some low-level baseball player. I don't even know if they're still together. And they said, "Don't close your legs to marry me." Needy Lee. And Kim was coming. Well, look, we all said that too. Nene, and look, y'all trying to bring everybody back, but Nene leaks. But I guess when you go and you file a lawsuit and call Bravo and Andy Cohen a racist, I guess that's the ultimate like no. And it said, why did they not move like the Friends? SJP is just so mean. Yeah, because that's what they should have did too. It's like, you know what? Instead of you trying to sabotage um Kim Cattrall trying to get the money that she felt she deserved, especially with her popularity bringing so much to the show. Like people really tuning in for Samantha. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like all the other girls, but they do what they need to do, filling in with the show. And Sarah Jessica SJP does what she does, Cynthia Nixon does what she does, Kristen Davis does what she needs to do as the uptight Charlotte, and and Kim does what she needs to do for Samantha. And you have all the other players from Mario Cantone, you had Stanford, and you have these other characters that will come in. And they did what they needed to do for the show. But the main thing is that, you know what? Yeah, when it came time to negotiate them contracts, if y'all to get like money, you should have stood in solidarity like the cast of Friends did, where they all walked in and said collectively, you either pay us what our worth is or we're all walking. And they knew, being, of course, they white, and they stood in solidarity, and they knew the amount of power that they had over at the channel NBC, that they could go in and negotiate, because these studios, all they care about is trying to squeeze as much out of the lemon until there's no more juice left. So, oh yeah, I remember that. It was like SJP. Yeah, they have known each other, because I remember I think they did a kid. I totally forgot about Police Academy. It was like, yeah, she was a Police Academy. I do love that movie. Shout out to Steve Guttenberg, who I used to have the biggest crush on when I was a kid. I used to have the biggest. It was that curly hair, and he had the little tight butt and them jeans. I was like, ooh. Come on, 80s. That's what I think I love about the 80s too, because them jeans couldn't get any tighter on a lot of those men. And yes, I do love Mannequin with Andrew McCarthy. And Oh, in Hollywood, remember him? Shout out to Meshach Taylor. Oh, and rest in peace, Meshach Taylor. And it was that police. Yeah, she was funny in that. It said, plus Kim mentioned she is 10 years older than SJP. Yeah, she's in her 60s. Oh, yeah, so it was 1998. Thank you. Oh, you talking about the picture that I posted up of them when they were younger? It said Gen X is 1964 to 1980. The oldest Gen X is 60 and the youngest is 44. Okay. It's a Michael Patrick King, SJP have history together. SJP was also, yeah, she was a producer. And that's why I said she stepped in and allegedly the rumor was that she stepped in and tried to sabotage the negotiation with Kim and trying to get more money out of the show. They said sex permitted Gen X would be 34 and 18. Kim spent all that man's money and hers. Because, with him in the NFL, he did have some coin. And it says, shout out to Steve Guttenberg. And he did look good. 3 Men and a Baby was good. Loved that movie as a kid. Oh, yeah, he was in that with Tom Selleck. Not a boomer, child. Wait, Kim Zolciak is not a boomer? She's 40, 46? She look older than that, yeah. But she said she's 46. Child, now speaking of messes, let's get to this one. So Elon Musk, I can't with him. But anyway, so he basically said that his estranged trans daughter was killed by the woke mind virus after he was tricked into agreeing to gender reaffirming care procedures. So Elon Musk argues that he was deceived into allowing the medical gender reassignment of his trans daughter, claiming that she was killed by the woke mind virus. Now, I would read it, but it's so much more entertaining for y'all to hear this foolishness out of his own damn mouth. And the worst part is, we definitely going to have to read the comments because they was windmilling his ass, which I did find funny, that he actually went and spoke to a therapist, some therapist, podcast, or whatever, about this sort of thing. Now, if you have a medical degree and you out here spreading lies, shouldn't that should be revoked? Especially if, well, I don't know. What is it that he told a psychologist, his name was Dr. Jordan Peterson, but he went and did an interview with Daily Wire. I think Daily Wire is conservative. So we already know this is what y'all do when y'all go and y'all pick certain people, certain channels to go spew your propaganda. And this is exactly what he's doing. Because I didn't know that he had a trans child. He has 12 kids, by the way. So now he up neck and neck with Nick Cannon. So, he has a 20-year-old child, Vivian, who transitioned in 2022, so 2 years ago. But anyway, we're going to play this clip, and then we'll come back and we'll talk.
Happened to one of my older boys, where I was essentially tricked into signing documents for one of my older boys, Xavier. This is before I had really any understanding of what was going on, and we had COVID going on, and so there was a lot of confusion. Hearing that you were told, I was told, Xavier might commit suicide if he.
That was a lie right from the outset.
Incredibly evil, and I agree with you that people that have been promoting this should go to prison. So I was tricked into doing this, it wasn't explained to me that puberty blockers are actually just sterilization drugs. Anyway, and so I lost my son essentially. They call it dead naming for a reason.
Yeah.
All right. So the reason it's called dead naming is because your son is dead. So my son Xavier is dead, killed by the woke mind virus.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what that would be like.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, and there's lots of people in that situation now.
Right.
It's not pretty, and lots of demolished kids.
Yes.
Yeah, well, that's a good reason to be the final straw. All right, so let's.
So I vowed to destroy the woke mind virus after that.
Okay, we don't need to continue with the foolishness. I was like, I'm done with him. Because first of all, now this makes perfect sense why he's been eradicating and doing all the things that he's been doing on social media and making a lot of transphobic, a lot of real nasty comments and stuff about, the trans community, and now talking about woke mob. And here's what I don't understand. For somebody who is supposed to be this genius and this, wannabe Tony Stark, basically cosplaying Tony Stark, I should say. For somebody who's supposed to be so smart, has got to be the one that's biggest idiots under the sun. Because I'm sitting there thinking, for somebody who owns Twitter, and yeah, I'm dead naming yo shit and calling it Twitter because that's what it always will be. Since you want to talk about dead naming and you want to continue to misgender your trans child, intentionally calling them your son when it's your daughter. They're no longer your son. First of all, I believe in the picture. If I can show you, I believe it's, if I'm not mistaken, they're twins that they have. So one of them is that, so I think from this picture that they're a twin, if I'm not mistaken. So the people in the comments had this to say, and this is where I was surprised that the people in the neighborhood talk was actually more on, against what he was saying than for it. Because at the end, again, I'm always expecting a lot of transphobia and homophobia to be in on the black blogs when it comes to stuff. So one person said, you too rich for this. I truly believe Elon is short but slow. Another person put, or was this after his baby mama left him for a trans woman, Chelsea Manning? Let's get into his real beef. And I ain't know that, but let's continue. Another person put, I want to know when TF did white people take the word woke and flip it to be a derogatory word? Oh, that's the main thing. That's why I always get irritated when it comes to these races where y'all want to sit and take the word woke and y'all want to turn it into like a racial dog whistle. And basically, woke basically means taking something that is based off of a marginalized community, like say with, bringing awareness to marginalized people. So say like what's going on within the black community, especially like, okay, so then when it's like, be vigilant, stay woke. That's what that basically means. Just being aware of what's going on around you. It has nothing to do with, it's people trying to change your belief system or whatever. Because I think that's the way they look at it. It's like, oh, well, you're trying to push this agenda or you're trying to push this thing on us that is new and I don't agree with it. That's what it just seems like to me when y'all use that, or y'all use in so many ways. I'm even confused as what the fuck y'all even use. What does the term woke mean to you? So whenever bigots say this, I guess maybe the question I'm going to have to do is ask, what the hell does woke mean? What are you talking about? Another person put, can conservative/Republicans stop using the word woke? When I was younger and even before, that's not what the word meant at all. Another person put, let's translate what he said. His son is struggling with gender identity and suicidal. Upon receiving medical help, the son then transitioned into the identity they wanted and now lives a happy, healthy life. The full-grown adult has a TikTok. This adult remembers how their shitty parent treated them then and now and has fully disowned Elon Musk. Elon Musk, just like Trump, cannot take any personal responsibility, so it's they took my son and not my child hates me, wants nothing to do with me, and I'm still on podcasts talking shit about them. Well, that sounds about on point. And when it was somebody was the son dead, I thought maybe the child committed suicide or something or another, but apparently the child is still alive, but you're trying to say because the person that you knew is dead, now they become someone else. I didn't understand what the hell he was talking. Like, I'm sitting here thinking the kid literally is not alive on this earth no more. Another person put, it is incredibly frustrating how a term that Black Americans use to support one another has been co-opted for whatever this ish is. Leave Black Americans and their lexicon out of it. Another person put, the use of the word trick is dangerous here. No one tricked Elon Musk into anything. Being that rich, I'm not signing anything without legal counsel. And that's why I was saying, as well, like, how'd somebody trick you? You could have did the research. Google is your friend and it's free. And you could have looked up what needed to be done. Like, I mean, I'm sure in your daily life as a businessman, you signed many contracts and read them before you signed it and went over it with your legal team before signing it. So all of a sudden, this situation, your eyes was in pain. You didn't have your glasses. All of a sudden, you illiterate, you dyslexic, you can't read. Like, get the fuck out of here with that. And then the guy sitting across you co-signing just because he's so happy to have an Elon Musk interview, you just as dumb and should have your license revoked. Another person put, so one of the world's richest men was tricked into signing a document. Can he not read? Can he not pay someone else to read it for him? Like a lawyer? I have some papers I need signed. No need to read it and ignore all the zeros and dollar signs. Hashtag cry me a river. There was one that I saw with Moniece from, what was it? From Love and Hip Hop that I was like, I wanted to add to the docket, but there's so many damn comments in here. Oh yeah, I found it. So she put, he believes in and promotes popularity control. He has children for fun just because he can't afford to. He gives them outlandish names for fun with no consideration for them and how they'll have to grow up by simply being his children, let alone by name. He's a tech genius and multi-billionaire. Everything he does is strategic, including impregnating women. So how was that he was tricked into signing anything? At the very least, he simply did his due diligence. You'd think that someone who procreated for sport would have certain protections in place. His bad. Next. So yeah, I say that to say I think we got enough out of what we need to get out of him. Elon Musk, you are a fucking idiot. You pretty much are just saying anything at this point to remain relevant. This whole woke mob thing, and we already know that you're giving millions of dollars to Trump and his campaign. Like, we know what it is that you're doing. You're a piece of shit. You're a piece of trash, and nobody likes you. Not even the women that spread their legs to have a baby with you. So I'm saying all this to say, let me know what y'all think of this dumbass story in the comments down below. Now, speaking of which, we have a lot of comments. He said, and I met her in person. She look old as hell. I remember one time my boss said, because when they shot, I think it was at the time I was working at, I've worked a multitude of jobs. So I was working at Shake Shack, and they actually was filming a scene that never made the cut in, oh my God, which one were they at? They were at the one in, oh my God, in the park, not the Bryant Park one. It's another one over on 23rd Street. So they were going to be shooting in that area, and there's a Shake Shack in it, the very first one they ever opened, and they all came, the whole crew, everybody ordered food and all this other stuff. She was there looking old as hell, and didn't even look like her. And my boss literally said, she looks so old, and I'm sitting there laughing. And I've seen her I've actually seen SJP quite a few times. One time I was on my way to a party, and damn, I can't remember the name of the party because, in New York, so many parties have came and went. I can't remember all of them. But there was a party that I was on my way to, and she was leaving. And I think they might have come for that party because we were all in the same area. And I believe it was in Tribeca, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, it's somewhere in the city. And it was her and Andy Cohen. And we walked right past each other. I gave the nod and kept it moving. So it's like Kim Cattrall, yeah, she is a baby boomer. It said Dula Peep Illusion is playing on radio now. So I think Dula wants to make music for radio, not look. She could do whatever the hell she wanted at this point. I just don't feel like Dula Peep is actually gonna unless she puts, I don't know. It just seems like people aren't really feeling her and what she does musically over here. So it is what it is. Which is so odd. SJP was basically a working actress until Sex and the City, and she blew up and became the wealthiest woman in New York per annual review. Early 2000s, SJP made, yeah, she did make money, and she's still successful, and she's still in that whole elite. She's very part of the New York elite, alongside, Andy Cohen, and her husband's a big Broadway star, so he's got that on lock. And, Kelly Ripa, Mark Consuelos, a lot of the New York typicals, a lot of the Bravo Celebrity girls, the Bethany Frankels and all of them, they all migrate out there. Now you see Hennifer out here a lot lately in the Hamptons. So yeah, he's a disgusting person of a human being. He wasn't tricked. Exactly, he's a liar. It said money does that to people. The man is fucking crazy. It said early 2000s, SJP was making over $30 million a year, and she has made more money this year than any other New York woman. Kamala Simmons was second, early 2000s. And the funny thing is, I didn't even know that SJP had she has 3 children. I knew about James Wilkie, but I didn't know she had two other girls or 2 daughters. He just wants to create kids and not really be in a lot. Yeah, that's another thing too. It's like, yeah, you are in the same boat as like a Nick Cannon, but do you have all these kids, but do you spend time with their children? And the fact of the matter is, you out here saying that your child is dead and all this other mess, but your kid doesn't even fuck with you. Like they denied you're even their father. And so I don't think he was in the. Probably not. It's like you're just going around making all these babies, but are you there being their actual dad? And it's like, I don't think he spends any time with his kids. He cares about money more than anything. And I do agree. You said they're better off with them. It's the same thing, yeah, with Tom Cruise and Suri. Suri does not have a relationship with her father because her father will put Scientology over his own family duties. And it's the fact that if they aren't part of the cult, you have to disassociate yourself from them. And he can't have no part in her life, which I think is crazy that I'm going to put some fake made up ass religion over my own child that I decided to bring in the world. But he probably looked as Suri as trying to make her the second coming, as in, their version of Damien Thorne. And, Katie got a taste of the cult, was like, oh, hell no, we're not doing this. And so I like Dula Peep, but her new album is not as anthemic as. Yeah, I don't like her new album. I literally, I listened to the album once and I was just like, I'm good. It just wasn't my zhuzh. So, yeah, there's that. Okay, so let's get into some how you doing news. Well, we already did like one of the gay news stories, with trans. So let's go to the church. And let's talk about Miss Kim Burrell, who, all of a sudden now has decided to apologize to the gay community after, calling homosexuality a perversion. Which I don't know how you calling that a perversion with all them sissies and punks that migrate up in the damn church, especially Donnie McClurkin, allegedly. But let's entertain, this big back bitch's apology to her. So Burrell was collaborating with Missy Elliott and Pharrell. That's enough. Sure, you collaborate with Missy. No, I'm not going to do that to Missy. She live her best life. She do one thing. I'm not going to do that to you, girl. She is a child of the church. But anyway, let's go in. So Burrell, who was collaborating with Missy Elliott and Pharrell Williams, gave the LGBTQ plus community a round of applause at the Stellar Gospel Music Awards on Saturday, the 20th of July, apologizing for a comment she made in 2016. Well, I guess better late than never, because you almost damn near 10 years late. Now, speaking on stage while accepting the Aretha Franklin Icon Award, why the hell would they give her that? She said she wanted to use the moment to build bridges between her and queer people, saying, I want to apologize to the LGBTQ community. The singer said, let's give them a great big round of applause. We want them to have strength and to sincerely know that we must all do the work to embrace all of God's people and show his love to everyone. I hope this award and this moment can be the beginning of a bridge building and listening to each other as we follow peace with all men. Well, here's the thing. If you need that bridge, why don't you hit up Tyler Perry and see if he can bridge the gap between the gays and people like you. Now, they said, what did Kim Burrell say about LGBTQ plus people that got people, all up in arms? So she is a pastor, did that gospel show that used to come on BET, was condemned by fans and artists she had worked with after the homophobic sermon, which she warned gay people they would die the following year. She also blamed gay men for the spread of the AIDS virus. She said, anybody in this room who is filled with the homosexual spirit, pray God to free you. You're playing with it in 2017, you'll die from it, she said at the time. That perverted homosexual spirit is a spirit of delusion and confusion. Now, if you as a man will open your mouth and take a man's penis in your face, you are perverted. If you're a woman and you take the breast of another woman's face, you are perverted. Well, child, word on the street is Kim Burrell allegedly like getting her box eaten by other women. So why all of a sudden now you gotta change your heart? I said alleged. Now, when a video of the rant was seen soon after she apologized, claiming she loved child, go fuck yourself with this goddamn post. I was gonna say, you know what? Y'all can forgive her and y'all can, give her the benefit of the doubt or whatever, but I'm calling this fucking theater. This is nothing more than performative. Let's give them a round of applause. Come on, gay people. Let's get sickening, okay? Like, I just felt like I was just waiting for her to do it then. Or as they like to call on RuPaul's Drag Race, which irritates my spirit, a death drop. I was expecting her to do that at that point because it just felt so fake. It felt so disingenuous and it felt performative, which pretty much explains Kimberell's personality. And they said that following the incident, Ellen DeGeneres dropped her because I remember she was supposed to appear on her show. Pharrell condemned her comments and she was dropped from a gospel awards ceremony and she lost her radio show. So to me, it just feels like all these years later, because she has always stood, even back when all this stuff was happening, she has stood 10 toes down on a lot of the things that she said. And it's not just with LGBTQ plus people. It has been with other things that she has done in the past where she has come across as just a nasty spirit and a nasty human being. And I'm sorry, but I just don't feel like a leopard has changed in this spots. I don't feel like she's evolved. I just feel like this is performative and it's a bunch of BS. So I'm glad that you want to all of a sudden come over to the gays because when all else fails, that's what a lot of y'all do. Y'all want to come pander to us and thinking that we're just going to invite y'all with open arms to the homosexual cookout. And it's like, I'm not as gullible, ma'am. So you could take that apology, form it into a scepter, and shove it up your wide motherfucking cunt because you are not getting an apology from me, bitch. Or I'm not accepting your apology over here. So anyway, let me know what y'all think of this tight ass story and her half-ass apology down in the comments below. Okay, so they said I don't want to be rude, but look like she eating for both me, her, and a friend. That's why I said this whole big back bitch. And so I remember that's why Ellen didn't want her on the show. Because, yeah, she don't like, that's funny. It's like, you don't like the gays. You talking about homosexual people going to die from AIDS and all the other stuff, but you going on a lesbian show and you talking about if you like breasts in your face or whatever. And when you talking about penis, this is the shit y'all be saying in church. This is the way that these pastors be talking in the church. You're supposed to be a woman of God. How you out here talking about penises in the mouths and breasts in the women's mouth? Like, girl. And why y'all be so worried about the homosexuals being sexual? Why you always worried about the sexual things we do in the bedroom? Why is that always the topic of discussion? It's kind of like the go-to when it comes to trans people, where the first go-to thing y'all want to do is say that, when it comes to trans people, y'all want to talk about their genitalia. That's the main thing y'all always focusing on. What somebody got between me down there. Why is that always the main thing? That's 9 times out of 10 the last resort that trans people are going through when it comes to their transition. The transition starts here first before it can start down there. So stop worrying about what trans people doing between me down there, and stop worrying about what the gays and the lesbians and everybody else is doing in the bedroom. Worry about somebody, making your box rock. Whatever peen you want to have attached to the back. That's what you need to be worrying about. Exactly. It was a non-apology. And it said she was going to go on Ellen's show, but Ellen saw what she said and banned her. Absolutely, as she should have. Of course, but that's probably what it is, because they have to be curious, because, child, okay? Because y'all be knowing that, she be wearing them old crooked-ass, messy-ass Tyler Perry wigs, and when you wearing that shit, where it looked like it was, you cost your $10.99, didn't even make sure the lace was down right. Now you want to come out here and now you need your glam squad because, the sissies and plums be the ones that be making you heifers look, halfway decent. But when all else fails, like I said, pander to the gays. But anyway, let's move on and let's talk about Trixie, who, if I'm not mistaken, Trixie is supposed to be on her extended vacation where she's going to be off social media for the next couple of months. I guess, with everything going on with her, she could afford to take the time off. So one of the things I did not know, because we had heard of many a name that was popping up that they were supposed to do the Traders. So it kind of makes me wonder, because Bob the Drag Queen, is actually on the Traders. And it makes me wonder, was Bob the first choice or was Trixie the first choice? Because they couldn't get Trixie, then they went down the list and was like saying, okay, what other Drag Race girl could we actually bring on this show? So RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars with a makeup mogul, Trixie Mattel, might be on a well-deserved hiatus, but she's still keeping the children fed. Now, though the Drag Race alum kicked off her months-long break recently after suffering burnout, she confirmed that she confirmed that her YouTube channel will still be going strong during that time with pre-recorded content and guest stars filling in for her. Well, I actually think that's a smart thing to do because I'm like, oh yeah, you don't want to let the thing go dormant. And I think that's one of the things I worry about with me having my show is that you can do your own thing, but you can't let it go dormant for too long because then I feel like everybody's going to move on to the next thing and you're going to lose the audience because out of sight, out of mind. Everybody always quick to move on to the next best thing. So you got to keep the algorithm going. But don't get me wrong, I'm not going to be a slave to the algorithm. I will be taking some time off. Not as much as Trixie does, but I'm glad that she was smart enough to be in that situation where she's like, I got pre-recorded stuff. We're gonna have somebody who's gonna upload things to the channel, and then we'll have other people who y'all know come in and do, and fill in. They said in the first instance of the former, Trixie and season 16 Firebrand Plain Jane have collaborated on a video released on July 22nd, which was yesterday, titled Mama Kudos for Doing That for Kikiing, during which Miss Montel revealed that she was offered a spot on The Traitors but turned it down for a very specific reality TV reason. She has previously explained that why she turned down and is unlikely to never return for an all-winner season of Drag Race, but is an executive producer on her own shows, Trixie Mattel. She said the switch back from exec to contestant, it turns out, does not spark joy. I got to tell you, I don't know if I could ever go back to doing reality TV where I just let some homosexuals Final Cut decide what I look like. This is what she said. They said that she also revealed that she was asked to partake in the American spinoff of the Dastardly Traitors, but declined this for the same reason. She said, "I got asked to do the Traitors, and I said no because I'm not going to let people film me and do what they want to do with the footage. Are you out of your mind?" She then added that she would also go home first on the show because she's not a good liar. If I was the traitor, they'd ask me and I'd be like, no, or start crying and said, while laughing. She said, while laughing. Luckily, the Traitors USA isn't exactly starved for queer representation, despite Mattel's pass of an invite. The recent announced season 3 cast is set to feature another member of the Drag Race Winners Circle, Bob the Drag Queen, as well as Selling Sunset Chriselle Staus, and for some reason, Lord Ivar Mountbatten. The first out gay member of the British monarchy and second cousin of King Charles III. And I'm sure there's other gays that's on the show, but here's the thing. The one thing about the Traitors is the fact that, they don't have enough queer representation on that show. Y'all could have put more than one Drag Race girl on there, but they just want to keep picking one. Last year they did Peppermint. Peppermint went home, I believe, second. The first person that went home was Johnny Bananas from the challenge, which sidebar, I am looking forward to the new season challenge. When does that come on? I need to check. But the 40th season, where they got the what they call it, like all from the past decades, but they're all coming on and doing the show. So they got everybody on that one. So I remember Johnny Bananas was kicked off first and then they went after, Trishelle. I still am mad at her over there. She went after Peppermint. So we don't want it to be in a situation where it's like, okay, y'all bringing queer people on the show, but then y'all gonna be the first ones to get chopped. Because that was my issue with, with Derek when they would have, with the challenge when they would have Derek and Ryan on the show. And normally, whenever it was up for elimination, y'all would go after the gay boys first. But the good thing I loved about the recent season of All Stars that y'all can watch on Paramount Plus if you have it, is the fact that they had that Derek and Ryan. Well, Derek made it all the way to the final for once because he normally they're always willing to kick his ass off first. And then Ryan, because of association with Derek and so many other people on the show, he made it as far as he did. So the gays wasn't necessarily chopped immediately. So that actually made me happy watching the show. And I'm actually with Trixie. It's like, you know what? I'm at a point where it's like, I did what I needed to do to get in the reality TV space so that way I can have the success that I have and I could be where I'm at today as a drag queen. But now that I'm an independent woman, I make my own, I have my own makeup line. I'm out here making music. I'm doing, I have the Trixie Hotel, and now she's got the reality show where she's making over her house and she has all these other things going on. She doesn't necessarily need to go on these crazy reality shows to remain relevant. And there's no shade to people that want to go on these reality shows, but she doesn't need it. And the fact of the matter is, she's like, I'm a content creator, so I'd rather have control, be the executive producer, and control the narrative rather than them people over there controlling the narrative and making me look crazy on TV. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Are you disappointed that Trixie Mattel is not going to be on season 3 of The Traitors? And yeah, just let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Okay, as you said, I watched the challenge because I'm so deep in, but it's been a little boring. Yeah. Well, I didn't watch. I will admit this. I didn't watch season 39 of the challenge because, to be honest, they had so many new people on there that it was just like, I don't care. I don't care about New Reese. I don't care about these other kids. I did care about Horacio because Horacio was good to look at. But look, he'll be on season 40, so I don't have to necessarily watch out to see. And then the whole thing about Jay trying to run the house, it was like, come on, like y'all get on my nerves. It just felt so contrived. It felt so fake. I just couldn't get into it. But All Stars, that was on Paramount Plus. Now that season was good because it was like the veterans, and I'm so familiar. It's like we say on the show, nostalgia and all the other stuff, familiarity. So I only watched the show for that reason. Because they had like a lot of the cast members on there with Ayanna being a snake that she was, and there was a bunch of other stuff that was going on with the show. And then Cara Maria came back, was great, and Laurel was losing her damn mind with being with the lesbian firefighter when they had the relationship and their emotions and all that stuff. They played that up. So it was just a lot of drama that was going on that season that was actually pretty good. But then the challenges was crazy as well. And seeing TJ, even getting in on some of the challenges as well, which I thought was pretty cool because we just see him stand there hosting, blowing the little bullhorn or whatever, but he actually partook in some of the challenges along with the cast, so I thought that was cool that they interjected him into that as well. So the All-Star season was pretty good, but I do agree that the challenge in the past has not really been keeping me excited. Oh yeah, I do like Kylan, and I do agree, them teeth are a little too big for their mouth. And that's what always worries me about. I'm glad I got good teeth, and I never would decide to get veneers because it's like it's so much work that goes into that. I'm glad I got good enough teeth that I don't have to worry about like pointing to put, because I am not want to be out here looking like Mr. Ed. Like I'm not trying to be out here looking like nobody's horse. Them giant ass teeth in their mouth. Yeah, I do agree. I mean, I wanted Cara to win, but you know what? In a way, I was kind of low key rooting for her to lose because of the whole thing that went on with Leroy and Killer Cam. So I was mad over the whole situation, like some of the snake moves that she was doing, and just overreact, like all the drama that was going on with that. But overall, at the end, I was like, wait, who won that season? Oh, Laura won. I was like, who won? So I was like, yeah, Laura won. She came in first, and then Cara Maria came in second, and then damn, I forgot the other guy's name. There was one of the guys from the old seasons of the Road Rules show came in third. Yes, Bob the Drag Queen is going to be on the new season of The Traitors. He is, but they were saying that they had asked Trixie Mattel. Maybe it's because Kylan British, they always say British people got bad teeth. So maybe that's why, some of them go off and get like the fake teeth or whatever the case is. Well, I don't understand. Like sometimes when it comes to a lot of these reality TV people, why is it that the minute y'all get a little money, reality TV money, the first thing y'all do is y'all get the liposuction, you get your boobs done, you get new teeth. It's just like, but I guess it's like if you want to feel the way on the outside, you want to look like you look expensive, but child, don't be going for the cheapest damn teeth. No, I do agree. I do like Laurel, but yeah, she do be getting on my nerves sometimes with the dramatics and stuff. And then her and Cara Maria going at it. It was a lot of drama on that season. I do agree with that. Y'all, not all of y'all have bad teeth, but that has always been sort of like the stereotype, I guess. But look, in New York, I mean, not in New York, in America, there's a lot of people out here with bad teeth too. So it's not just the Brits. Bad teeth, bad every damn thing, bad attitudes. But anyway, so let's move on and let's give some prayers up for my girl Morphine. who word on the street is she got into a bad car accident. I found this out, I think, yesterday. She got into a bad car accident over on Saturday. I think this had to have happened right after DragCon because that was the last day for DragCon. So they said Morphine Love Dion, star of RuPaul's Drag Race season 16, has been injured in a car crash that left one person dead. Morphine, who plays on the 16th season of flagship franchise RuPaul's Drag Race in 2024, was attending fan convention DragCon on the 19th and the 20th. As confirmed by Entertainment Weekly, she was injured early Sunday morning in a crash that left one person unalive. 5 others were also reportedly injured in the accident on the 10 freeway in LA's Jefferson Park area. A statement posted to the Miami-based performer's Instagram story read that Morphine was in a serious car accident while in an Uber. And I feel like hold on, because we have that there. We have the post courtesy of Twitter. And they said that Saturday night, Morphine was in a serious car accident while in an Uber. She suffered multiple injuries, but is grateful to be alive. Please keep her in your thoughts and prayers. Some space and time is appreciated as she focuses on healing. Now, Canada's Drag Race star, I should say, Chaos, who appeared on season 3 of the Brooklyn Heights hosted spinoff, was also involved in the crash, as confirmed by Tsunami Muse, who wrote on Twitter that the pair were in the same car. Saying Chaos, who was eliminated in 9th place during the 2022 season, posted a similar statement to Morphine, saying, "I'm okay, just been on bed rest," she wrote. I will be making a post explaining what happened this weekend once I am in the right headspace and also can explain it all and the accident. So it says that for now, resting and sorry, won't be posting any DragCon stuff right now either. That will come later, probably next week. So Chaos also said the following. They said, just so everyone knows, I am okay, just been on bed rest. I will be making a post explaining what happened this weekend once I'm in the right headspace and can also explain it all in the accident. So then they said the California Highway Patrol were called to the one vehicle accident at around 3:30 in the morning, according to local news, although other cars are said to have crashed at the scene and created a pileup. One person was trapped in their car and later died from their injuries. This is what police told ABC7. An Uber spokesperson told Entertainment Weekly, saying, "Our hearts go out to everyone impacted by this gut-wrenching crash. We are working to get in touch with the driver and riders to check on their well-being." Now, Morphine's Drag Race sisters have sent their love and well wishes to the Queen. Candy Muse wrote, please keep Morphine in your prayers. Wishing you a speedy recovery, Mia Moore. And Safira Cristal posted, everyone show Morphine some love. So happy my sister and everyone involved is safe and okay. Tsunami later wrote, it's been the scariest 2 days, but so happy she and everyone else in the car are doing fine. Let's see if there's any more. I think that was pretty much it. So so shout out to Morphine. I'm sorry to hear that this was something that you had endured. This is why, you know what, and I do take Ubers a lot, so I already know what I need to do. I got to start wearing my seatbelt, because a lot of times, I don't know if Morphine had a seatbelt on, he didn't have a seatbelt on, but like I said, it caused a pile up. A lot of people was injured. I'm sure even with the seatbelt, you would have been injured, but now this is making me think like, yeah, because I do take Ubers a lot, I need to be very careful in regards of how I get around and stuff and not wearing my damn seatbelt. So I'm gonna definitely start doing that from now on, especially when I'm in that car. So get well, Morphine, and when you're ready to speak out on what happened to you and ready to post the pictures and stuff up on social media, you know, what happened with DragCon, all that good stuff, then definitely do it when you're ready. So in regards to this story, I want to hear what you guys have to say about this. Let me know what you guys think of what's going on with Morphine down in the comments below. And funnily enough, it was weird. I remember I was looking up something about, I was looking at Morphine's Instagram, and it literally was trying to link me to something if I have like a drug addiction. I'm like, bitch, I'm not on morphine. I'm looking for the drag queen Morphine. You know, they be funny sometimes with the social media. And it said, my comeback will be free healthcare. Okay. So, and sad to hear what happened to the person that passed away from their injuries on the highway. All right, so let's get to our final topic because apparently, Omar Apollo is said to make his acting debut in Luca Guadagnino's next film. Now, he did the film Challengers with Zendaya, and the music was done by Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross. Trent Reznor's Trent Reznor's from Nine Inch Nails, that sort of thing. They're actually going to be working on the music to the movie Queer, and so Omar Apollo actually revealed this morning, I believe, that he's going to be making his acting debut in Luca Guadagnino's next film. So he posted this to his Instagram, and it says the following. So it says, a few months ago, we had Challengers, that sort of thing. And, we have a new movie coming out called Queer with Daniel Craig, who's playing a 40s drug fugitive who goes to Mexico City and becomes fixated on a younger man played by Outer Banks star Drew Starkey. And it's basically an adaptation of William S. Burroughs' 1985 novel. So Omar Apollo, who is the queer son of Mexican parents, just released his sophomore album, God Said No, last month, which I told y'all is like one of my top albums of 2024. He had a Grammy Best New Artist nomination and a bunch of TikTok hits, and he's worked with people like the Neptunes, Joji, and Kali Uchis. Now, on Instagram this morning, as I stated, he confirmed reports that he is part of the queer cast. And so here's what he posted. He posted the whole thing there, and that's that. So, I don't know what he'll be playing. Who knows? Maybe there's a scene with him and Daniel Craig canoodling. Maybe they have a sex scene or something, or like he encounters this good-looking young man, and then is required to play. He has to speak Spanish or something or another. Because the fact of the matter is, it takes place in Mexico City. Omar Apollo is Mexican, so maybe who knows what character he's playing, but I'm sure it's probably a small role because I don't know what type of acting experience Omar has. And I have been seeing like Omar's got a bit of a personality. He's been putting himself out there a lot lately, and I know he's been busy touring. And I'm trying to see if they actually said when this movie is supposed to be coming out. I don't think it basically says. I know on out.com's website, they had the information and stuff there regarding hold on. I was trying to see if I could find the article, but I don't have. Oh yeah, I do have it. I came across it because I saw there was another article where there was a gay scene cut from another movie, Borderlands. Apparently, there was Cheyenne Jackson has a gay marriage scene, I guess, whatever. They said they cut it out. Whatever, Chad. But anyway, so looking at the information, it says that we have Anderson is doing the costume. Jonathan Anderson, who's the creative director for Low, also posted an update saying Anderson is doing the costumes for the movie and having done them for Guadagnino's latest film Challengers. Anderson posted an image of the movie on his IG saying that he is very, very proud to have done the costumes. And the costumes are very much capturing a time in those days. Hold on while I pull that up. So that's kind of like the overall look, because I imagine that's how it would have looked in those times, especially in Mexico City. But I hope y'all don't put on that sheen that y'all always do when it comes to like Mexican, movies. Whenever y'all travel to Mexico, that y'all kind of give it that Sicario look, that everywhere it look dusty and orange. Why do y'all always go with that font? So they basically said that Queer will premiere at Venezia 81, the 81st Annual Venice International Film Festival, which will be held from August 28th to September 7th. So if the movie's just about done and they're going to be showing at a festival, which is basically like almost, a month away, then I think that they probably just quick to film, or maybe they filmed his scenes already. That's what I'm guessing. They had to have filmed Omar's scenes already if this is basically, him announcing that he's going to be in this film. And it's only a matter of time before they're now in the editing bay, and then we're going to get the premiere and all this other stuff. But we should be expecting a trailer. And this is definitely a movie that I want to check out because I'm hearing so many great things about it. And then on top of that, I'm hearing that they're really pushing the boundaries in regards to the sex. So it's not just because of the sex I want to see it, but it's like I like old time films. I kind of like that whole vintage movies or whatever. And if you're going to take me in that time, I want to experience it. So are y'all excited to see Omar Apollo make his acting debut in a queer movie created and directed by Luca Guadagnino. Whatever your thoughts are, and Daniel Craig, yeah. So whatever your comments are, let me know in the comments down below. And so I think Omar is a cutie, but I can't get into the music. I haven't heard the new album, but the previous work is. Well, the word on the street was that they used to date, so maybe that influence rubbed off on him. But the funny part was, I do feel like I do agree with you on that, because Ivory definitely gave me kind of what you're saying, whiny brown Frank Ocean. And to be honest, I could never get into Frank Ocean. I just felt like his music was a little too laid back. It was a little boring. I just can't get into Frank Ocean. But the one thing I will say about Omar Apollo is that I feel like with his new album, he's experimenting with with different sounds and stuff. So I like this new album more so than Ivory. Like, I've listened to Ivory maybe 3 times. I've listened to his latest album, God Said No, way more than I've listened to Ivory. So I say give it a gander. I'm not forcing you to, but I say just check it out. And if you listen to it and you're like, you know what, I can't, then if he's still giving you whiny brown Frank Ocean, then it is what it is, I guess. Okay, so so let me take that. Oh, so yes, so now we are at the end of the show. If you have any final questions, comments, or concerns to add to the topics or to the show, do so right now. Speak now, forever hold your peace. But in the meantime, if y'all still have not already, please hit that like button, that subscribe button, and the notification bell, so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. It was Omar Apollo. We were just talking about in the last segment. He's a openly gay Mexican well, I guess we can call him pop. I don't know what would be his genre. Like what Nestle said was his music is similar. Like if you listen to Frank Ocean, that sort of sound, his music is similar in that way. Although I will say, like he has taken risks. He's kind of gone more into adding electronic elements and all the other stuff. There's some hip hop. There's a different. It's like a plethora of different sounds that he's incorporated in his music. Because at first I did kind of look at him as like, oh yeah, basically you're like, and I hate having to compare people. But I was like, yeah, I looked at him as like, yeah, you're the Mexican Frank Ocean. The only thing is like you're Mexican, he's black, they're both openly gay, making the same genre of music. And the word is that they were in a relationship. I don't know if it's true or not. They never really confirmed it, but the rumor was always that Omar Apollo and Frank Ocean dated at one point. So I'm sure some of that, his sonically and lyrically and all the other things have rubbed off on him. I mean, to be honest, I wouldn't kick Omar out of bed. He is a cutie. But yeah, it's like you hear so many things about Frank Ocean, but it's just like, yeah, with me, I could just never really get into his music. But anyway, okay, so we're at the end of the show. Thank you all for tuning in. I will most likely be back on Thursday because tomorrow I'm doing this. Frank Ocean's a cutie too. I need to see that sex tape. But anyway, because I think I'm doing the Queens of R&B tour tomorrow, so I won't be on doing a show. Thursday, most likely I will be. There's a lot going on this weekend, so y'all have a great night. I'm about to go and cook this juicy steak that I got just thawing out in my sink. And we will gallivant and converse and all the things 2 days from now. So love you all for watching. Thank you all for in the comments and chiming in and giving y'all thoughts and all the other stuff. Love you all, love you all, love you all. And until next time, ciao, darlings.